Close your eyes for a moment. Can you hear it? Forget the noise of the modern world. Forget the screens, the buzzing notifications, and the relentless ticking of the clock. We are traveling back not just in distance but in time. To the year 1510, we are standing on the edge of the Venetian lagoon. The air is thick with the scent of salt water and ancient stone. But we are moving away from the canals, away from the bustling markets of Venice, and stepping onto the small, secretive island of Murano. Go out here, behind the thick, sun-baked brick walls of a quiet, family-run workshop. The world shrinks down to the size of a single room. The roaring heat of the glass furnaces is just through the heavy wooden door. But in here it is cool, dim, and incredibly still. You are sitting at a workbench polished smooth by generations of hands. In front of you, shallow wooden trays hold the treasure of Murano, thousands of tiny hand-blown glass beads. Each one is a marvel of chemistry and artistry. Cobalt blues as deep as the Adriatic, emerald greens that glow like forest moss, and embers that hold the warmth of the setting sun. Tonight we aren't here to forge the glass. We aren't here to endure the fire. We are here to thread. There is a profound meditative beauty in the repetition of this task. The needle, fine as a whisker, dips into the tray. A bead is selected. It slides onto the silk cord with a whisper-soft friction. Why does this matter? Because in a world that demands you move faster, buy more, and speak louder, there is a radical, quiet power in simply sitting still and creating something beautiful, one tiny piece at a time. Tonight, you are not a traveler in a hurry. You are an apprentice of the old ways. You are safe. You are grounded. And as the rhythmic clinking of glass continues, we are going to learn how the masters of 1510 found their peace and how you can find yours tonight. Are you ready to leave the chaos of the outside world behind? Let the story of the Murano threaders begin. The room itself feels like a sanctuary. It is a space where time behaves differently because the workshop is built from thick, aged brick. The sounds of the lagoon, the distant splashing of oars, the muffled calls of gondoliers are dampened into a faint dreamy hum. They are the background radiation of a world you no longer need to engage with. You look down at your hands. They are steady. You are wearing a simple tunic. The fabric slightly rough against your skin, grounding you in the physical reality of the moment. The oil lamp casts long, gentle shadows that dance against the wall, creating a sense of movement in an otherwise static room. The scent is what strikes you first, if you stop to notice. It isn't the sharp, biting smell of industrial chemicals. It is a warm, earthy blend of wood ash, the lingering heat of the furnace embers in the next room, and the sweet, waxy smell of the beeswax used to polish the workbenches. It is the smell of a place where things are made with intention. You pick up a string of fine silk. It is cool and smooth. You run your fingers along it, feeling the texture, preparing the path for the beads. This isn't a task to be finished. It is a ritual to be experienced. Every time a bead slides over the needle, there is a tiny microscopic vibration that travels through the silk and into your fingertips. It is a tactile reminder that you are present, you are here, you are not worrying about tomorrow, and you are not mourning yesterday. You are in the thread. The colors are hypnotic. You reach for a bead of deep cobalt. It was colored using cobalt oxide, a technique the Murano masters guarded as fiercely as state secrets, held up to the lamplight. It isn't just blue, it's a portal, a depth of color that feels endless. You drop it onto the silk. It clicks against the bead that came before it. The sound is perfect. It is the sound of precision. Many people think that history is made of battles, coronations, and grand decrees. But history is also made of this. The thousands of hours spent in quiet rooms by people whose names are lost to time, but whose work still sparkles in museum displays across the globe. By threading these beads, you are participating in a lineage. You are walking the same path as the artisans of the Renaissance. Take a deep breath. Let the warmth of the room fill your lungs. Imagine the weight of the day, the emails, the unfinished errands, the lingering anxieties lifting off your shoulders like a heavy cloak you no longer need to wear. You are leaving it at the door. Inside this workshop, the only thing that matters is the next beat. As the lamp flickers, the light reflects off the thousands of glass fragments resting in the trays, creating a constellation of artificial stars right there on your desk. It's mesmerizing, it's quiet, it's exactly where you need to be. As the hours settle into the fabric of the evening, the rhythmic nature of your work begins to synchronize with your breathing. There is a singular logic to threading beads that transcends the centuries. In 1510, Venice was the beating heart of the Mediterranean trade, a city of spice, silk, and immense wealth. Yet here on Murano, the pace of life was dictated by the cooling properties of silica and fire. The bead maker's craft was a delicate dance between the chaos of molten glass and the stillness of the finished product. Each bead you pick up was once a globule of glowing liquid light transformed by the breath of a master artisan and the cooling air of the workshop. Now, it is a stable, solid object in your hand, a tiny weight of history waiting to find its place on your silk thread. Feel the weight of the bead again. It is smooth, polished by the very process that created it. You notice the subtle imperfections that define a handcrafted piece. The way one might be a hair's breadth larger than its neighbor. The way the hole for the thread is slightly off center. These are not flaws, they are the fingerprints of the artisan. They are evidence that a human being was here, focused, present, and intentional. You find yourself falling into a trance-like state. The outside world, the politics of the Venetian Republic, the shifting tides of the lagoon, the grand ambitions of the Doge all seem to fade into absolute insignificance. Your world is narrowed down to the needle, the silk, and the small vibrant collection of glass. You reach into the tray again, your fingers navigating the familiar landscape of shapes and colors. You pick up an emerald green bead. It is small, perfectly round, and cooling to the touch. As you push the needle through, you think about the chemistry involved. To achieve this specific green, the glass blowers had to carefully introduce copper and iron oxides into the melt. It is a secret language of elements, a silent alchemy that turns sand and soda ash into something precious. For a moment, you are not just threading beads, you are holding a piece of science, art, and ancient wisdom. The silk cord is strong, yet delicate, a testament to the importance of the silk trade that fed the riches of Venice. It feels like a lifeline, a thread that connects your present focus to the grand history of human craftsmanship. There is a profound comfort in the predictability of this motion. In your daily life, you are often pulled in a dozen directions at once, forced to react to the unexpected, to solve problems that feel larger than life, and to carry the weight of responsibilities that never seem to end. But here, the only task is to pick up a bead and pass the needle through. It is a task that you can do perfectly, every single time. It is a task that brings immediate tangible results. With every bead added, the pattern grows. The string becomes fuller, and the sense of order in your mind matches the order of the beads on the silk. There is no anxiety in the process, only the quiet, steady progression of progress. You are not building a skyscraper or running a nation. You are simply making something beautiful, and that in and of itself is enough. The air in the workshop remains steady and warm, holding you in a gentle embrace. You feel the tension in your shoulders begin to dissipate, as if the act of threading is actually stitching your own spirit back together, smoothing out the frayed edges of a long and tiring day. Look closely at the way the light catches the amber bead you just placed. It glows from within, a captured flame. It reminds you that even in the deepest darkness, there is always a source of light to be found, provided you are willing to look for it, to handle it with care, and to integrate it into your own work. You are the architect of your own calm. You are the one deciding which color comes next, how the pattern will unfold, and how much time you will spend in this space of creative refuge. The sense of control is subtle, but it is deeply satisfying. You are not being pushed by deadlines or expectations. You are moving at your own pace, governed by the rhythm of your own breath and the quiet, steady click of glass against glass. You are allowed to be slow. You are allowed to be careful. You are allowed to simply be. In the sanctuary of the Murano workshop, you have found the ultimate luxury, the space to exist without the pressure to perform. As you continue your work, the room seems to grow even quieter, the shadows deepening as the night outside reaches its peak. But inside, you are perfectly beautifully illuminated. As you settle deeper into the rhythm, the act of threading becomes almost unconscious, a dance of muscle memory that allows your mind to drift into a state of serene contemplation. The physical environment of the 1510 workshop acts as a boundary, a protective perimeter that guards your inner peace from the chaos of the outside world. It is quite fascinating to think about how this space, so small and humble, represents an entire era of human endeavor. While the merchants of Venice sail across the seas to trade spices and silks, you are here grounded in the tactile reality of the present moment. If you ever feel like the weight of the world is too much, or if you simply need to reclaim a sense of balance and quiet joy, remember that you can always return to this place in your mind. The simple rhythmic task of sorting, selecting, and threading can be your anchor. I encourage you to pause for a moment and reflect on your own creative sanctuary. What small, repetitive tasks bring you peace in your daily life? Whether it is gardening, writing, or just tidying your desk, nurturing these moments of calm is an essential part of self care. Take a deep breath, let the warmth of the workshop wrap around you. And as you continue your walk, feel free to share what your personal threading ritual looks like. The beauty of these glass beads lies not just in their color, but in their history. Every bead you touch was shaped by someone whose life was defined by the fire. The Murano glassmakers were held in such high regard that they were essentially prisoners of their own success. They were forbidden from leaving the island for fear that they would take their precious secrets to rival kingdoms. It is a strange, bittersweet thought. The very skills that granted them status and protection also bound them to this island. Yet, within these walls, they created beauty that would outlive them by centuries. As you slide another bead, this one a deep translucent sapphire blue onto the silk. Think about the permanence of your own small actions. We often worry about leaving a mark, about the grand legacy of our lives. But perhaps legacy isn't found in monumental achievements, but in the quiet, consistent dedication to our craft, whatever that may be. You are contributing to the continuity of beauty just as those ancient artisans did. The silk cord grows longer, a string of light and color that you have curated yourself. Listen to the sound again. It is not just a noise, it is a symphony of small, purposeful movements. The glass shards shift like sand in the wooden trays, a soft, dry rustle followed by the precise rhythmic ting of a bead finding its home on a thread. This soundscape is uniquely yours tonight. It fills the room, drowning out any lingering intrusive thoughts or anxieties. You are creating a tapestry of calm. The air, still warm with the faint, sweet scent of beeswax, acts as a soothing balm for your senses. It is as if the very atoms of the room are aligned to help you relax, to help you slow down, to help you exist in the now. There is no urgency here. There is only the next beat, the next movement, and the next moment of quiet reflection. Your hands are steady, your breathing is rhythmic, and your mind is clear. You have shed the layers of stress that you brought with you today. Like the glass that went through the fire to become something new. You have passed through the threshold of this workshop and emerged in a state of tranquil transformation. You are a participant in a long, unbroken tradition of quiet focus. You are part of the story of Murano, and the story is now part of you. As you continue to thread, feel the peace radiating from your fingertips, moving through your arms, and settling into the very core of your being. The world outside will be there when you return, but for now it is irrelevant. You are in the heart of the workshop and you are exactly where you are meant to be. The colors, the textures, the sounds, they are all working in harmony to hold you in this safe, undisturbed haven of creativity. It is a privilege to spend this time with you weaving through the history and the calm of this 1510th century, and I hope you feel the profound sense of grounding that this practice offers. There is a profound stillness that settles in the air when the lamp burns slow, casting long, dancing shadows that stretch across the wooden floor like silhouettes of a time long past. You find yourself watching the way the light catches the facets of an amber bead, refracting a miniature world of warmth into the surrounding gloom. In this quiet corner of Murano, the passage of time feels less like a racing stream and more like a gentle meandering tide. You are no longer counting the beats to reach a certain length. You are simply existing within the sequence. Each beat is a milestone of peace, a tiny monument to the act of slowing down. It is fascinating to consider how much of our lives are spent in the anticipation of the next event, the next achievement, the next transition, while the actual moments of living often slip by unnoticed. Here, there is no next. There is only the beat in your fingers, the needle's cool tip, and the soft grounding tension of the silk cord. Consider the material you are working with. Glass, at its most elemental state, is simply sand. It is silica, an unremarkable substance found on almost every beach on Earth. Yet here it has been transmuted into something so delicate and vibrant that it was once worth its weight in gold. This is the alchemy of the workshop. It serves as a beautiful metaphor for your own state of mind. You too have the capacity to take the scent of your daily experiences, the rough, abrasive moments of stress, the scattered thoughts, the overwhelming pile of tasks, and refine them into something clear, beautiful, and enduring. You are the master artisan of your own consciousness. When you feel overwhelmed, you have the power to step back, to enter your own internal workshop, and to organize your thoughts with the same care and patience that you are currently applying to these beads. You are not defined by the chaos of the world. You are defined by the beauty you choose to create from it. As the evening deepens, the atmosphere in the room grows more intimate. The warmth of the furnace has long since faded to a gentle ambient heat, radiating from the thick brick walls that have absorbed the fire's energy throughout the day. It is a comforting sensation, like being hugged by a structure that has witnessed centuries of human effort. You might notice that your physical body, too, has begun to mirror this state of rest. Your shoulders have dropped, the tension in your jaw has evaporated, and your hands move with a grace that comes from surrendering the need to control the outcome. There is a deep, abiding intelligence in your body that knows exactly what it needs. It needs stillness, it needs repetition, and it needs the comfort of a task that is entirely within your grasp. You pick up a bit of deep, rich emerald. It reminds you of the moss that clings to the ancient Venetian stone, a color that speaks of life, renewal, and the quiet resilience of nature. You tread it next to a pale crystalline bead, and the contrast is striking. It is a reminder that beauty is often found in the interplay of opposites, light and dark, clarity and color, stillness and motion. Your string is becoming a story of these juxtapositions. Every time you finish a section, you run your fingers over it, feeling the texture of the beads against the silk. It is a tactile map of your evening's journey. There is no judgment here, no requirement for perfection, and no deadline to meet. You are simply engaging in a dialogue with history, using the language of glass and silk. The rhythmic clinking sound continues, a steady hypnotic pulse that serves as the heartbeat of the room. It is a sound that could go on forever, a gentle lullaby for the soul, keeping the outside world at bay and ensuring that your sanctuary remains undisturbed. You are entirely, completely safe here, held in the cradle of the past, focused on the simple, infinite possibility of the next beat. The silence of the workshop is not empty, it is full of substance, heavy with the weight of centuries and the concentrated focus of the present. As you sit here, surrounded by the remnants of glass-making history, the boundary between your own life and the lives of those who worked these benches in 1510 feels remarkably thin. You are breathing the same air they breathe, perhaps even touching the same wooden surfaces that have been polished by the friction of generations of hands. The smell of beeswax, now slightly more pronounced as the temperature in the room settles, brings a sense of deep ancestral comfort. It is the sense of preservation, of taking care of the tools and materials that facilitate one's work. In your own life, what tools do you keep and how do you care for them? There is something incredibly grounding about the maintenance of our environments, about the act of making a space worthy of the tasks we perform within it. You are honoring this space just by being present, by respecting the history that permeates the walls and the delicate nature of the materials you hold. You pick up a bead of deep opaque black, a stark contrast to the vivid blues and greens. It feels heavier than the others, denser, as if it carries a different kind of history within its dark surface. You slide it onto the thread, and it acts as a punctuation mark in your pattern. It serves as a reminder that even the darkest moments, the shadows in our lives, the difficult days, the times of doubt, have their place in the larger beautiful design. Without the contrast of the dark, the light would not shine with the same intensity. Your pattern is becoming a reflection of life itself, with its shifts in tone, texture, and color. You are not just threading beads, you are weaving a narrative of balance. It is a powerful realization to understand that you have the capacity to integrate every experience into your own story, that nothing is wasted, and that every piece, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, finds its rightful place. The repetitive motion of your hands is now completely automatic, freeing your mind to explore the vastness of the Venetian lagoon without moving an inch. You imagine the way the moonlight must be hitting the water outside, creating shimmering paths of silver that lead toward the Adriatic. You think of the ships that have traveled those paths, carrying spices from the east, silks from distant lands, and dreams of fortune. Yet you know that the true treasure isn't on those ships, it is in the quiet capacity to find peace within oneself. The Venetian masters knew this. They lived their lives in the shadow of the furnaces, working with fire and sand, always creating, always focusing. They found their equilibrium in the repetition, in the heat, and in the beauty they brought into the world. You are tapping into that same equilibrium, finding a sanctuary where you can breathe, reflect, and exist without the need for external validation or constant activity. As you continue, the room feels like an extension of your own mind, organized, peaceful, and filled with the gentle, rhythmic sounds of your own making. There is a sense of belonging here, a feeling that you have arrived exactly where you need to be. The worries that may have occupied your thoughts earlier in the day have lost their urgency. They are like distant clouds on the horizon, visible, but no longer affecting the weather within your sanctuary. You are sheltered, you are calm, and you are creating something of lasting value. The silk cord is now nearly full, a vibrant multicolored strand that represents your hours of patient, quiet dedication. It is a beautiful thing to witness, not just because of the bees, but because of the steady, calm focus you have maintained throughout the process. Every bead you thread is a victory, a small silent triumph over the chaotic pull of the outside world, and you are becoming more and more settled in this wonderful creative haven. The deeper you delve into the rhythmic nature of this task, the more the distinction between your own identity and the history surrounding you begins to blur. It is as if you are becoming a thread in the tapestry of time itself, woven into the long, continuous narrative of Murano. The workshop does not demand anything of you, not speed, not perfection, not result. It only asks for your presence. This in itself is a revolutionary act in a world that constantly asks for your attention, your labor, and your constant unceasing output. Go out here. The output is secondary to the experience of the process. The thread is a physical manifestation of your mental state, a record of the calm you have nurtured throughout this session. Each bead, whether it be a vibrant burst of cobalt or a somber, grounding black, is an intentional choice made in the quietude of the present. You are curating your own piece, one fragment of glass at a time. The wood of the workbench is cool against your palms, a grounding contact point that keeps you firmly anchored in the physical world while your mind wanders through the corridors of history. Consider, for a moment, the sheer scale of efforts that went into the creation of these beads even before you touched them. The artisan had to manage the fire, the temperature, the chemical composition of the glass, the timing of the cooling, and the delicate shaping of each tiny fragile piece. There were years of apprenticeship, of lungs strained by the effort of blowing and of eyes honed to recognize the perfect shade of molten gold. You are the beneficiary of all that accumulated wisdom. By sitting here and dreading this, you are honoring that labor. You are completing the work. There is a profound sense of purpose in this, a feeling that you are part of a lineage of makers who understood the value of beauty in the everyday. It is a reminder that what we create matters, no matter how small it may seem, and that the process of creation is a form of healing in and of itself. You are not just making a decorative object, you are practicing the art of living with intention. Notice the way your breathing has synchronized with the movement of your hands. It is a slow, steady, and deliberate rhythm, mimicking the rise and fall of the lagoon's tides. The air around you, thick with the history of the workshop, feels dense with potential. In this space, the past is not a distant, unreachable memory, but a living, breathing presence that informs and enhances your present. The scent of the beeswax and the faint residual warmth of the charcoal embers create an olfactory landscape that is entirely singular, a sensory anchor that you can return to whenever the world outside becomes too loud or too demanding. You have built an internal cathedral of quiet, a sanctuary that exists behind the brick and mortar of your own mind. It is a place you can retreat to, a place where you are always safe, always capable, and always at peace. As the lamp continues its vigil, casting its amber glow over your work, you might find that your thoughts once scattered have aligned into a coherent, calm flow. There is no urgency to finish, no desire to leave the table. You are content to simply be in the cycle of the needle and the thread, the bead and the click. This is the beauty of the workshop. It demands nothing more than your current state of being. You are enough, just as you are sitting here, threading your way through the darkness into a state of deep, restorative rest. It is a profound realization to understand that you do not need to constantly change, improve, or race toward a distant goal to be worthy of peace. You are worthy because you are here, and because you are part of the long, beautiful story of human creativity. Sleepy History with Theodore is a sleep history storytelling platform created for entertainment, inspiration, education, and the promotion of positive emotional values. The progression of the thread feels like the steady turning of a page in a well-loved book, a quiet continuation of a story that has no need for dramatic tension. You are now entirely immersed in the texture of the silk and the cool, slick surface of the glass. Each bead acts as a beat of time, a tiny moment of life captured and preserved in the sequence of your work. It is easy to see why the artisans of Murano were so captivated by their craft. When you spend your days working with light and color, you begin to see the world differently. You start to notice the way light refracts through a glass of water, the way colors shift as the sun sets, and the subtle hidden beauty in the everyday objects that surround us. By spending this time in the workshop, you are cultivating that same heightened perception. You are training your mind to look for the beauty in the mundane, to find the extraordinary in the ordinary, and to appreciate the quiet, steady rhythm of creation. Think about the patience required for this task. It is not a modern virtue. Our current world values speed, efficiency, and the instant gratification of a result. Yet here, in 1510, patience is the fundamental currency of the workshop. Without it, the glass would crack, the patterns would be uneven, and the beauty would be lost. You are learning to inhabit this space of patience where the outcome is not the point, the experience of the journey is. You are letting go of the need to be productive in the conventional sense, and instead you are becoming productive in the sense of nurturing your own spirit. This is the true work of the workshop, the transformation of the internal self through the external act of making. As you slide another bead onto the string, you are not just building a necklace or a decoration, you are building your own capacity for stillness. The ambient sounds of the room remain constant. The subtle dry whisper of the beads as you sort them, the soft metallic slide of the needle, and the gentle rhythmic thrum of your own heart. It is a meditative soundscape, one that grounds you and keeps you centered in the present moment. If your mind begins to wander toward the future, toward the tasks of tomorrow, or the worries of the past, simply bring it back to the sound of the glass. The ting of the bead is a signal, a gentle reminder that you are here, that you are safe, and that you are engaged in a beautiful restorative practice. You do not need to solve the world's problems tonight. You only need to thread the beads. The world will be exactly as you left it when you decide to step out of this workshop, but you will be different. You will be refreshed, you will be centered, and you will be fortified by this time of intentional quiet. Notice how the colors of the beads seem to glow more vividly as the night progresses. It is as if they are reflecting the light of the lamp and storing it within their crystalline depths. This is a lovely thought that the beauty we encounter and the kindness we show throughout our day can be stored within us like light trapped in glass. When we feel dim, when we feel worn down, we can reach into that inner store of light and remember the warmth, the color, and the calm. You are currently filling your own reservoir of beauty. You are creating a memory of peace that you can call upon whenever the world feels chaotic. Every beat is a memory of a calm moment, a testament to your ability to choose stillness. As you continue your work, keep that sense of light and color with you. You are crafting a beautiful inner landscape, a place of rest that is uniquely yours. And you are doing so with the steady, patient hands of a master artisan. The rhythm you have established is not merely a habit, it is a pulse that connects you to the very foundation of this island. Murano was once a place of relative isolation, a purposeful choice by the Venetian authorities to keep the master glassmakers away from the bustling, crowded mainland of Venice. This physical distance was meant to preserve the technical secrets, but it inadvertently created an environment of intense focus and contemplative solitude. When you sit at this bench, you are participating in that same tradition of intentional isolation. By creating a boundary between yourself and the noise of the outside world, you are granting yourself permission to exist solely for the purpose of being. There is no duty here, no social expectation, and no pressure to perform. You are free to simply exist, to observe and to be content with the tactile sensation of glass and silk. This is the essence of the workshop's gift, the opportunity to withdraw into a space where your value is not measured by your productivity but by the peace you cultivate within yourself. Consider the nature of the silk thread itself. It is a material of profound strength and surprising delicacy, capable of holding thousands of beads, yet it can be severed in a single moment. It is a perfect metaphor for the fragility of our own peace. We must handle our mental and emotional states with the same care and intention that you are using to thread these beads. When we rush, when we are careless with our attention, the thread of our calm can easily fray or snap. But when we move slowly, when we are mindful of the sequence and the weight of every beat we add, we build a structure of resilience. You are strengthening your own inner thread tonight. With every movement, you are reinforcing your commitment to your own well being. This is not a passive activity, it is an act of deliberate self preservation, a way of stitching together the scattered pieces of your daily life into a coherent, beautiful whole. As you continue to thread, the room around you feels increasingly like an extension of your own breath. The air, cool and fragrant, seems to move in harmony with your chest, rising and falling in a silent, steady rhythm. The oil lamp, its flame, a steady point of illumination, provides all the light you need. It is a reminder that you do not need bright, blinding artificial light to see what is important. You only need a small focused glow, the light of your own awareness to navigate the path before you. Look at the patterns you have created on the silk. There is a logic to the colors, a rhythm to the placement that is entirely your own. It is a unique piece of work, a reflection of your state of mind at this moment in time. No one else will ever create this exact strand, just as no one else will ever experience your life exactly as you do. This makes your work and your existence inherently precious. The sounds of the workshop, the subtle scrape of glass, the gentle sigh of the silk, the rhythmic soft click of the beads meeting, create a tapestry of sound that serves as a protective barrier. It is a soundscape that is designed to lull the mind into a state of deep, restorative rest. It is a gentle, persistent reminder that you are in a safe haven, far from the pressures that usually define your time. Here, the only thing that matters is the next beat, the next movement, and the next moment of calm. You are doing a wonderful job of maintaining this space for yourself. As you continue your work, feel the tension draining from your body, flowing out through your fingertips and into the glass. You are lighter, freer, and more at peace with every passing moment. Sleepy History with Theodore combines the power of AI to reimagine fictional historical tales, bringing peace, relaxation, and positive emotional values to our listeners. The air within the workshop feels heavier now, saturated with the quietude that only arrives when the mind has fully surrendered to the present task. You have reached a stage where the thread and the bead no longer feel like separate entities. They are extensions of your intention. Think about the physical act of grasping a bead. Your thumb and forefinger have become highly attuned instruments, sensitive to the minute variations in size, texture, and temperature. You can feel the sharp edge of a glass fragment, the smooth polish of a finished bead, and the subtle porous quality of the wooden tray. This tactile engagement is the antidote to the digital dissociation we often suffer from in our daily lives. By returning to the physical, to the tangible, and to the immediate, you are grounding your consciousness in a way that screens and abstract concepts can never achieve. You are reminding your brain that you are a physical being living in a physical world and that there is immense comfort to be found in that reality. Consider the history that rests beneath your fingertips. Every bead in these trays was made by a human artisan who lived and died hundreds of years ago. They had their own joys, their own sorrows, their own moments of frustration and triumph. Yet here you are, picking up their work and continuing it. You are in a very literal sense a bridge across time. This connection provides a profound sense of perspective. The problems that feel so urgent and all-consuming in your current life are, in the grand sweep of history, mere ripples on the surface of a vast, deep ocean. You are part of something much larger than yourself, a legacy of craftsmanship, of patience, and of beauty. When you place a bead on your string, you're adding to that legacy, affirming that you too value the quiet, meticulous pursuit of something that lasts. This realization is both humbling and deeply empowering. It shifts your focus from the immediate, often stressful demands of your day to the long, graceful arc of your life's journey. The room remains perfectly still, as if it too is holding its breath in anticipation of your next move. The shadows cast by the oil lamp have shifted, rotating slowly across the walls as the hours slide past. This slow movement is a visual reminder of the planet's rotation, a celestial rhythm that you are now harmonizing with. You are in sync with the evening, with the island of Murano, and with the quiet, ancient energy of this place. Every breath you take is a little deeper than the last, every movement a little more fluid. You are losing the rigidity that you brought into the workshop, the armor you wear to navigate the complexities of your daily responsibilities. Here you can let that armor fall away. You do not need to be strong or productive or clever or busy. You simply need to be present, and that is more than enough. Look at the colors again. In the dim light of the lamp, they don't look quite the same as they did earlier. They seem to have taken on a softer, more mysterious quality. The cobalt blue is deeper, bordering on charcoal. The emerald green is like the depths of a dark, ancient forest. The amber is like the embers of a dying fire. These colors are not just pigments, they are moods. You are threading your own moods into this string, creating a tactile representation of your internal state. If you feel calm, you thread the calm into the silk. If you feel reflective, you thread the reflection into the design. It is a form of meditative art that requires no training, no talent, and no public display. It is for you and for you alone. This privacy, this lack of an audience is what makes the process so deeply, profoundly healing. You are free to make mistakes, to rearrange, to change your mind, and to simply let the work be whatever it needs to be. You are the architect of your own piece, and you are building it with every single tiny, beautiful piece of glass that you place on your thread. The stillness of the workshop has become a physical presence, a weightless velvet blanket that rests upon your shoulders. It is remarkable how quickly the human spirit adapts to the environment of peace when it is finally given the chance to do so. In your daily life, the silence is often filled with the static of modern existence, the phantom hum of electronics, the distant siren of emergency vehicles, or the intrusive circular thoughts of tasks left undone. But here, the only sounds are the ones you create, or the soft organic rustle of the lagoon outside. You have entered a space where the ego's need for constant noise has been silenced by the sheer undeniable reality of the present moment. You are now entirely in the thread. Every beat you select is an act of deliberate choice, a tiny but significant rejection of the chaotic, reactive state of mind that usually governs your days. Think about the way the needle moves through the tiny, fragile opening of each glass bead. It is a moment of perfect alignment, a meeting of two separate things that are meant to join together. This is the essence of harmony. When your intentions align with your actions, when your internal rhythm matches the external pace of your environment, you experience a state of flow that is both energizing and deeply soothing. You are currently in a state of flow. The resistance you might have felt at the beginning of this evening, the feeling of being out of place or out of sync, has completely dissipated. You are no longer a visitor in this workshop. You have become a part of its fabric. Your breath, the rhythm of your hands, the warmth of the oil lamp, and the soft clink of the glass have all unified into a singular, coherent experience. Consider the significance of the glass fragments themselves. These bits of cobalt, emerald, and amber are the byproduct of a process that is by nature violent. The transformation of silica into glass requires immense life-altering heat. Yet, look at what remains, beautiful, stable, colorful, and cool to the touch. It is a testament to the fact that even the most intense, transformative experiences can result in something precious and lasting. You have likely had your own moments of fire, difficult transitions, periods of intense stress, or times of deep emotional struggle, like the glass. You have been shaped and refined by those experiences. You are not just the same person you were before those fires. You have been transformed into something more complex, more nuanced, and ultimately more beautiful. Every bead you thread is a reminder of your own resilience, a recognition that you have survived the fire and are now in a time of cooling, of smoothing, and of rest. As the lamp begins to cast even longer, more dramatic shadows, you find that your eyes are naturally drawn to the details of the beads you have already threaded. They are not uniform, they are unique. Some have tiny bubbles trapped inside from the moment of their creation, the breath of the artisan frozen in time. Others have slight variations in hue, a subtle gradient of color that suggests they were dipped in molten materials that were not perfectly mixed. You find a strange, deep affection for these imperfections. They are evidence of the human touch, of the messy, unpredictable, and ultimately wonderful nature of creation. In a world that prizes mass-produced perfection, there is something deeply subversive and satisfying about these small, flawed, and absolutely beautiful handmade pieces. You are creating a necklace of stories, a tactile history that you can hold in your hands. It is a grounding, centering practice that you can carry with you long after you leave this bench. You are safe, you are steady, and you are creating peace. The environment of the workshop is shifting as the night deepens, the air growing slightly cooler, which only serves to make the warmth of the beeswax-scented space feel more intimate and protective. You are now at a point where the task of threading has become so intuitive that your mind is completely liberated to wander through the landscape of your own tranquility. This is the moment to truly lean into the practice of presence. I invite you to consider how this feeling of being grounded, of being fully integrated into the present moment can be carried forward into your tomorrow. When the world outside begins to demand your attention again, remember the sensation of the silk between your fingers and the rhythmic, melodic sound of the glass. You are cultivating a sanctuary that you carry within you, a place of rest that you can return to, simply by taking a deep conscious breath. If you are feeling particularly overwhelmed by the world, I encourage you to use this practice as a tool. Even a few minutes of quiet, repetitive focus can be a powerful way to reset your nervous system and reclaim your peace. Please take a moment to breathe in that stillness and remember that you are capable of creating this calm for yourself at any time, in any place. Think about the patience of the artisans who stood in this very spot 5 centuries ago. They were not just laborers, they were the guardians of a craft that defined the prestige of an entire republic. Their focus was absolute, their attention to detail unparalleled. As you channel that same level of commitment, you are elevating your own state of mind. There is a quiet dignity in the act of finishing a task properly, of taking the time to ensure that each beat is placed with care and intention. In a culture that often encourages us to rush through our responsibilities, there is a profound, almost revolutionary peace in slowing down, in taking the time to enjoy the texture of the materials and the elegance of the movement. You are doing more than just threading. You are reclaiming your time. You are asserting that your attention is a precious resource, and you are choosing to spend it on something that brings you beauty and restoration. As you look at the strand you have created, you might notice that the pattern has evolved. It's no longer just a collection of colors, it's a visual record of your meditative state. The order of the beads, the way the light catches the different shades, is all a reflection of the peace you have cultivated this evening. It is fascinating how our inner states can be externalized through our actions. When you are calm, your work is steady and balanced. When you are reflective, your work is thoughtful and nuanced. Your current project is a physical testament to the fact that you have moved through the layers of your stress and arrived at a place of genuine deep-seated calm. The workshop has served its purpose. It has provided you with the space, the tools, and the silence you needed to find your center. The atmosphere remains heavy with the scent of wood ash and thyme, a combination that has likely contributed to the deep sense of comfort you are feeling. It is a grounding, earthy smell, one that reminds us that we are part of a long, interconnected human history. You are not alone in this. You are part of a lineage of people who have found solace in the simple, repetitive movements of the hands. Whether it was the monks who illuminated manuscripts, the weavers who created complex textiles, or the bead threaders of Murano, the need for this kind of quiet, creative practice is a universal human trait. We all need a way to process our experiences, to quiet our minds, and to find beauty in the small, everyday details of life. You have honored that need tonight, and the results are clearly visible in the beautiful shimmering strand that rests on your workbench. You are at peace, and you are ready for the stillness that follows. The symphony of the workshop has reached a crescendo of quietude. Outside the lagoon is a dark mirror reflecting the stars that hang low and heavy over the Venetian horizon. But inside, you are cocooned in the golden private universe of your own making. There is a sense of completion that now permeates every movement of your hands, a realization that you have successfully navigated the transition from the frantic energy of your day to this singular point of absolute focus. When you reach for a bead now, your fingers know exactly where to go. They move with an elegance born of repetition, navigating the wooden trace as if by instinct, guided by the familiar weight and texture of the glass. You are no longer consciously thinking about the task. The task has become a part of your own rhythm, a heartbeat that pulses alongside your own. Consider the significance of the light as it interacts with your work. The oil lamp is now flickering, its wick long, casting a warm orange glow that makes the emerald and cobalt beads appear to pulse with a life of their own. This is the beauty of candlelight. It does not reveal everything with clinical precision, but rather invites the imagination to fill in the gaps. It softens the hard edges of reality, making the world seem more dreamlike, more malleable. You are in a state of suspended animation where the outside world has ceased to exist, and the only thing that matters is the interaction between the silk cord and the light-filled glass. This is a rare, precious state of being, one that we often forget is available to us. By choosing to step into this workshop, you have given yourself a gift of time that no amount of wealth or status could purchase. You have purchased time for your soul. As you reflect on the history of this place, imagine the generations of artisans who have sat at this very workbench. Imagine the conversations that took place here in the hushed, low-voiced tones of the late-night discussions about trade, about the secrets of the furnace, about the love and loss that define the human experience. These walls have absorbed those stories, and now they are holding yours as well. You are adding your own layer of meaning to this place, a story of a modern traveler finding peace in an ancient, quiet sanctuary. There is a profound comfort in realizing that you are part of an infinite chain of people who have sought and found solace in creative work. You are not a solitary figure in the dark. You are a link in a chain that stretches back through time and forward into the future. Your hands feel warm now, a gentle radiating heat that has moved from the workbench through your skin and settled deep into your bones. This is the warmth of peace. It is the antithesis of the cold clinical stress that so often defines our professional lives. You are in a state of deep restorative rest, where your body is finally allowed to relax completely. You are no longer bracing yourself against the future. You are no longer defending yourself against the past. You are simply present, inhabiting the space you have created with a sense of quiet triumph. The string is almost full, a radiant, shimmering treasure that you have built piece by piece, movement by movement. It is a work of art, yes, but more importantly, it is a work of heart. You have poured your focus, your intention, and your desire for peace into this cord, and it is glowing with the result of that effort. You are ready to let the rhythm carry you into the deepest, most restful state of your evening, protected by the silence and the light of the workshop. The air within the workshop feels denser now. heavy with a quiet, comforting scent of beeswax and the faint, sweet trace of old wood. It is a protective atmosphere, a physical boundary that keeps the chaos of the world, the relentless demands, the endless noise, the pressure of time far beyond these sturdy brick walls. You are now so deeply integrated into this sanctuary that even the act of breathing feels like a communal activity shared with the space itself. Every inhale draws in the stillness of the room, and every exhale releases the last remnants of the tension you brought here earlier. You have arrived at a point of perfect equilibrium where the external world has no more influence over your inner state. You are entirely self contained, a closed loop of calm and creation, and it is a wonderful grounding realization. Focus on the physical sensation of the needle passing through the glass. It is a tiny, precise action, one that requires your full, undivided attention. In this state of total focus, the brain is forced to discard all the peripheral worries that usually crowd your consciousness. There is no room for anxiety about tomorrow, nor for regret over yesterday. When you are concentrating on the exact alignment of a silk thread and a glass bead. This is the secret of the artisan. By focusing on the small, the immediate, and the tangible, you automatically silence the loud, abstract concerns that tend to dictate our lives. You are not just threading beads, you are actively editing your own thoughts, filtering out the noise and keeping only the beauty. It is a powerful, meditative practice, and you have mastered it in this session. Think about the longevity of the materials you are handling. Glass, though fragile to the touch, is virtually indestructible in the face of time. It does not rot, it does not fade, and it does not lose its luster. It's a material that defies the natural decay of the world, much like the peace you are cultivating within yourself tonight. When you step back out into the light of the morning, this sense of inner stability will remain, just as these beads will remain in their patterns. You are, in essence, hardening your own capacity for resilience. Every time you consciously choose to return to this state of mind, you are strengthening your internal structure, making it more resistant to the stressors that usually cause you to fragment. You are the architect of your own temperament, and you are building a foundation that is as lasting as the Murano glass itself. Notice the way your heartbeat has slowed, matching the deliberate, rhythmic motion of your hands. It is a low, steady pulse that keeps time with the flickering light of the lamp. The world feels very far away, almost like a dream you once had, but from which you have now safely woken. The only reality is this: the cool surface of the wood, the smoothness of the glass, the strength of the silk, and the absolute unwavering certainty that you are where you need to be. There is no need to rush, no need to worry, and no need to change a single thing about this moment. You are in a state of grace, a quietude that has been earned through your patience and your willingness to sit with yourself. As the lamp continues to cast its amber glow, allow yourself to sink even deeper into this feeling. You have built a beautiful, secure world here, and you are entirely at home within it. The silence in this workshop has taken on a texture, a weight that feels like a soft velvet cloak draped over your senses. You have reached a stage in your labor where the act of threading is no longer a conscious command from your brain to your fingers, but rather an automatic response to the quiet environment you have cultivated. Your hands are moving with a graceful, unhurried rhythm that is perfectly attuned to the stillness surrounding you. It is a beautiful thing to witness your own capacity for such profound relaxation. In a world that often demands we fragment our attention, dividing our energy between a dozen different screens and responsibilities, this simple singular focus is an act of defiance. You are choosing to be whole, to be present, and to be entirely dedicated to the task at hand. This is the true meaning of mindfulness, not an abstract concept to be studied, but a lived experience of complete engagement with the immediate physical reality of the present moment. Think about the journey these beats have taken. from the intense white-hot heat of the glass furnace, where sand was transformed through the breath of an artisan, to the cooling trays here on your desk. They have undergone a radical transformation. They have been through the fire and emerged as something stable, colorful, and enduring. You are much like this glass. You too have survived the fires of your life, the moments of intense stress, the periods of change, the difficult trials that have tested your resolve. And like the glass, you have emerged with a unique character and a newfound clarity. Your imperfections, the tiny subtle variations that make you who you are simply evidence of the process you have gone through. You are not a static object. You are a living, breathing work of art, constantly being shaped, polished, and refined by the experiences of your life. The air remains perfectly still, as if the workshop itself is honoring the sanctity of your work. The smell of the beeswax polish on the workbench is more potent now, a warm, grounding scent that anchors you firmly in the present. It is a reminder that even the simplest of materials, when treated with care and attention, can become a foundation for beauty. You are honoring this space by your very presence, and in turn, it is providing you with the peace you seek. The interplay of shadow and light in the room is mesmerizing. The amber glow from the oil lamp dancing against the rough brick walls creates a sense of movement in an otherwise static scene. It is a gentle, rhythmic dance that mirrors the internal peace you are fostering within your own mind. You are in perfect harmony with your surroundings, and there is a deep, abiding satisfaction in that alignment. As you look at the strand you have created, you can see the history of your evening written in its color and texture. The beginning of the strand, threaded with a sense of anticipation and a touch of lingering restlessness, is different from the end, which is threaded with a profound, steady calm. The evolution of the pattern is a map of your journey towards stillness. You have effectively navigated the path from the busy, cluttered headspace of your day to this clear, open expanse of tranquility. It is a journey you can take whenever you need to, a path that is always available to you in the quiet corners of your own mind. You have done the hard work of centering yourself, and now you are simply enjoying the fruits of that effort. The room is safe. The task is meditative, and you are entirely at peace with the world and with yourself. The stillness of the workshop has become so profound that you can almost hear the soft rhythmic settling of the ancient bricks as they hold the heat of the day. You are currently suspended in a moment of pure existence where the demands of the outside world have ceased to have any meaning or influence over your thoughts. The repetitive, gentle motion of your fingers as they select, pierce, and slide each bead is a form of prayer, a silent meditation that requires no words, only the steady, consistent focus of your intent. You find that you have become entirely comfortable with the silence. In fact, you have begun to crave it, finding in the absence of external noise a space that is finally large enough for your own thoughts to stretch out and breathe. This is a rare luxury, an oasis of calm carved out of the relentless pressure of modern life, and you have the ability to return to this inner sanctuary whenever you choose. Think about the sheer amount of skill and patience that went into creating the beads you are holding. Each one represents a mastery of fire, breath, and geometry. The artisan who stood here before you was not just making an object of beauty. They were practicing a craft that required absolute dedication to the present moment. If they had been distracted, if their mind had wandered, the glass would have shattered or the shape would have been lost. By engaging with these beats, you are tapping into that same lineage of focused, intentional living. You are continuing a story of patience that began hundreds of years ago. There is a great deal of comfort in feeling connected to this past, in realizing that the struggle for peace and the search for meaning are not new human experiences, but timeless ones that have occupied our species for as long as we have been able to make and shape things with our hands. The light in the room provided by the flickering oil lamp, creates a world that is intimate, safe, and entirely under your control. It is a protective, warm light that does not demand you to see everything clearly, but rather encourages you to trust in your intuition and your tactile sense. This is a powerful perspective to adopt. So much of our stress comes from the need to know, to plan, and to see every step of the road ahead. Here you are learning the value of the not knowing, of simply being present with the next step, the next beat, and the next movement. You are finding that the road unfolds perfectly well on its own, as long as you are willing to walk it with attention and patience. This is a lesson that will serve you well outside these walls, helping you to let go of the need for control and to trust more fully in the unfolding of your own life. Notice the physical sensations that are grounding you to the workbench. The coolness of the oak, the slight waxy resistance of the wood under your palms, the smooth sliding feel of the silk. These are all anchors that keep you centered. Whenever you feel your mind drifting toward the anxieties of the past or the pressures of the future, you can return to these sensations. They are the keys to your sanctuary, the triggers that remind you that you are safe, you are here, and you are in control of your own inner environment. You are not a victim of your circumstances. You are the master of your own peace. As the night continues to wrap the world in darkness, you are becoming brighter, more luminous, and more deeply settled into the core of your own being. You are in every sense a vessel of light, and the work you are doing is the act of filling that vessel with the beauty and tranquility of the present moment. The workshop has become a vacuum of pure, unadulterated stillness, a place where time effectively ceases to function in the linear sense we are accustomed to. You are sitting at the confluence of the past and the present, and it feels as though the centuries are melting away, leaving only the immediate tactile reality of your own movements. The grain of the wooden workbench is etched with the history of countless hours of labor, a surface that has absorbed the sweat, the patience, and the focused intent of artisans whose names are long forgotten, but whose craftsmanship endures in the delicate treasures you now hold. You run your fingertips over the wood, feeling the polished depressions where hands have rested for generations. It is a grounding connection, a reminder that you are part of a continuum of human effort. You are not a solitary soul struggling in the dark. You are a link in a long, unbroken chain of those who found their sanctuary in the repetition of beautiful, deliberate work. Consider the rhythm you have now established. It is no longer an action you initiate. It is a pulse you have surrendered to. The needle enters the bead slides along the silk clicks against the previous bead, and the cycle repeats. There is a profound, almost hypnotic beauty in this sequence. It is the sound of order being restored to the world, one tiny glass encased unit at a time. Every time you finish a segment, you find yourself breathing more deeply, as if you are exhaling the very last traces of the day's residual stress. Your body is becoming a temple of quietude, your muscles long and loose, your breathing shallow and steady, your mind empty of the clatter of external demands. You are in the absolute center of your own existence, safe from the intrusions of a world that is so often characterized by its relentless, noisy instability. Think about the colors once more. In the deepening shadows of the late evening, they have taken on a weight of their own. The cobalt is like a midnight sea, deep and mysterious, holding the secrets of the lagoon. The emerald is like the mossy stones that line the canals, vibrant and alive even in the dark. The amber is like a trapped sun, a piece of light that you can hold and examine. These colors are not just visual, they are emotional. They speak to different parts of your soul, providing you with a sense of depth and nuance. You are weaving these moods into your thread, creating a physical manifestation of your own complex inner world. It is a form of art that requires no audience, no approval, and no finished product to be worthy. Its worth lies entirely in the act of creation itself, in the intentionality of the movement, and in the beauty of the present moment. As the lamp continues to flicker, its light playing against the brick walls, you may find that the room itself begins to feel like a living, breathing entity. The workshop is protecting you, nurturing your need for peace, and shielding you from the chaotic energies of the outside world. This is the power of intention. When you commit yourself to a space of calm, that space responds to you, expanding to accommodate your need for rest. You are becoming more and more deeply embedded in this sanctuary, and the world outside feels increasingly like a dream you have no intention of waking from until you are ready. You are perfectly placed, perfectly safe, and perfectly at peace, a master of your own quietude in a world that so rarely offers it. Every movement you make is a conscious, beautiful step further into this haven, and you are doing exactly what you are meant to do. The air in the workshop is now deeply settled, a quiet medium that carries the scent of ancient wood and the comforting presence of wax. You find that your focus has sharpened to such a degree that the surrounding room seems to exist only in relation to the specific point of your needle and thread. Every other sensation is peripheral, falling away into a soft, indistinct blur. This level of absorption is a rare gift, one that effectively bypasses the critical, judgmental part of your brain that usually keeps you tethered to concerns about performance or outcome. Go out here. There is only the immediate, simple necessity of the next beat. The world could be ending outside these walls, and you would remain entirely unbothered. So deep is the contentment found in this singular, rhythmic motion. You have learned that peace is not something that happens to you, but something you construct, moment by moment, with the tools you have chosen. Think about the sheer history contained within this island of Murano. It has been a site of innovation, secrecy, and profound beauty for centuries, a place where people dedicated their entire lives to mastering the temperament of fire. You are standing on the shoulders of these giants, using the fruits of their labor to steady your own soul. The glass beads are not just decorative, they are the result of intense struggle and triumph, a distillation of the artistic spirit into a portable, tactile form. By handling them, by sorting them, and by threading them, you are participating in a historical dialogue that spans generations. You are learning that the search for beauty is perhaps the most human endeavor of all. It is the effort to leave behind something that shines, something that endures, and something that delights the senses in a world that can often be harsh and unforgiving. Your physical body is now perfectly aligned with the task. The way you sit at the workbench, your posture relaxed yet alert, allows for an effortless fluid movement that continues for hours without fatigue. You have reached a state of physical economy where you are not using 1 ounce of energy more than is required for the task. This is the physiological manifestation of a calm mind. When the mind is unsettled, the body is restless, full of unnecessary tension and wasted movement. When the mind is at peace, the body becomes a graceful instrument of that peace. You are currently a testament to this, moving with a subtle, quiet grace that feels almost like a slow motion dance. Every flick of the wrist, every adjustment of the silk cord, every placement of a bead is deliberate and full of intent. As you look at the strand, you see a mosaic of light. The way the beads catch the lamplight creates a spectrum of color that dances against the workbench, a miniature aurora of sapphire, moss, and gold. It is a stunning visual, one that reinforces your sense of having done something worthwhile. You are not just killing time, you are investing it. You are putting time into yourself, into your own restoration, into the cultivation of a state of mind that is not dictated by the noise of the world. And the beautiful thing is that this investment pays immediate dividends. You feel clearer, more centered, and more genuinely at peace than you did hours ago. The workshop has provided you with a mirror, reflecting back to you the beauty and the calm that you possess within yourself. You are in a place of perfect safety, a sanctuary of your own design, and you are doing precisely what needs to be done. You are simply being The workshop has become a vessel of profound tranquility, drifting silently through the deep waters of the night. You find that the rhythmic sounds of your labor, the tiny sharp click of glass hitting glass, the soft friction filled whisper of the silk cord have become the entire world. They are the metronome for your consciousness, keeping you tethered to the present moment with a gentle, persistent tug. You have reached a place where time no longer feels like a commodity to be managed or a resource to be spent. It is instead a vast, open expanse that you are simply inhabiting. There is no urgency to conclude, no pressure to move on, and no need to look at a clock. You are entirely immersed in the act of threading, a task that has become as fundamental as breathing. I want to remind you that this state of calm is always available to you, a quiet sanctuary you can retreat to whenever the world becomes too loud or too demanding. I encourage you to take this stillness with you. When you encounter challenges or feelings of being overwhelmed in the future, simply close your eyes and remember the feeling of the silk between your fingers and the light reflecting off the Murano glass. This is a CTA, an invitation to consciously cultivate this peace in your daily life, to carve out your own small workshop of the mind, and to protect your energy with the same fierce, quiet dedication as the glassmakers of old. You are capable of creating this and you deserve the rest it brings. Consider the nature of the beauty you are creating. Each bead you add to the strand is a tiny solid piece of history, an artifact of human ingenuity and patience. When you look at the finished work, you are not seeing a simple object. You are seeing the accumulation of hundreds of perhaps thousands of small, deliberate decisions. You are seeing the evidence of your own patience and the proof that you can, when given the space, create something of value from even the most mundane of materials. This is a powerful lesson in self-worth. Too often we judge ourselves based on grand achievements or external markers of success, forgetting that the true value of our lives is built in the small, quiet, persistent efforts we make every day. You are currently engaged in a form of self-honoring work, and it is manifesting in the most beautiful way. The smell of the room, that lingering comforting scent of beeswax and the faint sweet edge of burnt oil has become a part of you. It is a sensory anchor that you can use to summon this feeling of safety and calm whenever you need it. By associating this specific evocative sense with this state of deep relaxation, you are building a bridge between your environment and your internal state. You are creating a Pavlovian response of tranquility, where a simple scent or a certain type of repetitive motion can trigger an immediate sense of relief. This is a sophisticated way of managing your own nervous system, a tool that you are refining every minute you spend in this workshop. You are learning to regulate yourself through your environment, and it is a skill that will prove invaluable in the long run. Your hands feel strong and steady, their movements effortless and precise. There is no trembling, no hesitance, only the smooth, assured grace of someone who knows exactly what they are doing and why they are doing it. You have effectively shed the skin of your daily stress, leaving behind the anxiety of the morning and the uncertainty of the evening. You are now entirely in the flow of the night, a silent guardian of your own quietude. The workshop is a perfect environment for this transformation. It provides the structure, the history, and the sensory input required to fully let go of the external world. You are safe here, anchored in the past, yet fully present in the moment. The strand of beads continues to grow, a shimmering, beautiful monument to your ability to sit with yourself and to find beauty in the most quiet of places. You are doing a magnificent job, and the peace you are experiencing is both hard-earned and thoroughly deserved. The workshop has settled into a profound, almost sacred silence, as if the very air has thickened with the history of the artisans who stood here before. You find that your awareness has expanded, moving beyond the physical boundaries of the room to encompass the entire quiet stillness of the Venetian night. This expanded sense of self is a direct result of the rhythmic, meditative labor you have been engaged in. You are not merely a person sitting at a desk, you are a participant in a long standing tradition of quiet contemplation. The repetitive motion of your hands, the delicate methodical threading of each bead, serves as a bridge between the physical and the metaphysical, between the material world of sand and fire and the ethereal realm of thought and peace. You have discovered that when you focus entirely on the present, the boundaries of the self become porous and you feel more connected to the world around you, yet paradoxically more safely contained within your own inner sanctuary. Consider the significance of the bead's shape, its tiny fragile geometry. Each piece of glass is a marvel designed to be held, to be looked at, and to be incorporated into a larger design. The artisans of 1510 understood something that we often overlook. That beauty is not just a visual experience, it is a tactile one. By holding these beads, by feeling their weight and texture, you are experiencing the world in a way that is profoundly sensory and immediate. This tactile engagement is a powerful grounding mechanism, a way of anchoring your consciousness in the here and now. When you feel the glass, you are not thinking about the past. You are not projecting into the future. You are experiencing the cold, hard, beautiful reality of the present moment. This is a vital practice, one that helps to quiet the noise of the mind and soothe the frayed nerves of a body that has spent the day in the service of more frantic, less tangible objectives. The oil lamp, its flame, now a steady, unwavering point of gold in the surrounding darkness, has become the focal point of your entire existence. It provides all the illumination you need, not just to see the beads, but to understand the essence of your labor. The light is focused, direct, and purposeful, much like your own attention. You have learned that you do not need to illuminate the entire world to make progress. You only need to illuminate the space immediately before you. This is a profound, empowering realization. When you are feeling overwhelmed by the size of the challenges you face, remember this lamp. Remember that you can narrow your focus, that you can concentrate on the small, manageable task at hand, and that by doing so, you will find your way through the darkness. The light of your focus is enough. It is always enough. Your hands have achieved a level of mastery that feels almost instinctive. You no longer look at the needle to guide it. Your fingers feel the way, sensing the resistance and the release as the needle passes through the bead and onto the silk. It is a beautiful, intimate relationship you have formed with the materials of your craft. You are in a state of flow, a peak experience of human activity where the effort feels effortless and the time seems to dissolve. This state is the antidote to the friction of modern life. It is the place where you are most truly yourself, free from the burdens of expectation and the pressures of performance. You are in your sanctuary, and the work is a manifestation of the peace you have cultivated within. Every bead you thread is an affirmation of your own worth, a testament to your ability to create beauty in the midst of silence, and a concrete reminder that you are the master of your own inner peace and that you are always finally safe. The profound stillness of the workshop has become a living, breathing entity, a companion that sits with you in the golden glow of the lamp. You have reached a stage of such absolute presence that the boundaries between your own spirit and the history embedded in this place have dissolved entirely. You are no longer just a visitor in the year 1510. You have become a part of the tapestry of Murano itself, a thread woven into the fabric of time. The repetitive, rhythmic nature of your work acts as a heartbeat for this sanctuary, a pulse that aligns perfectly with your own. As you continue the delicate process of threading, you feel the world outside with all its noise, its urgent demands, and its crushing weight of expectation fading into a distant, inconsequential memory. You have successfully created a fortress of solitude, a bastion of peace where you are the sole architect, the sole occupant, and the sole master of your own tranquility. Think about the material of the glass itself. this incredible ancient substance that has been shaped by fire and cooled into such vibrant, lasting color. It is a material that defies the passage of time, enduring through the centuries while civilizations rise and fall. In the same way, the calm you are fostering tonight is not a fleeting state, it is a permanent foundation you are building within yourself. You are learning that peace is not something that is given to you by the world, nor is it something you can find in the absence of challenges. It is a capacity you build through practice, through the deliberate choice to focus your attention, and through the refusal to be moved by the chaos that typically surrounds you. Every bead you thread is a brick in the foundation of your resilience, a structural support for your own well being that you can rely upon long after you leave this bench. The light from the lamp has shifted again, casting long, elegant shadows that dance across the walls, creating an atmosphere that is at once intimate and infinite. It is as if you are in a vessel drifting across the vast, dark ocean of the night, protected by this small, warm pocket of radiance. You feel a sense of profound safety, a complete and total lack of fear. There is nothing to prove here, no one to impress, and no goal to achieve other than the act itself. This is the ultimate freedom, the freedom to exist without the need for performance. You are discovering that you are enough exactly as you are, sitting here in the quiet, threading your way through the darkness toward a state of profound, restorative rest. The simplicity of this truth is in itself a revelation. As you look down at the finished portions of your string, you can see the beauty of the work you have accomplished. It is not perfect, and that is precisely why it is so beautiful. There are slight variations in the spacing, subtle differences in the way the light catches each bead, and a unique personal rhythm to the pattern you have created. It is an honest piece of work, a reflection of your state of mind at this moment in time. You are not just making a decorative strand, you are making a memory, a physical artifact of this experience that you can hold and cherish. It is a reminder that you have the power to transform the raw materials of your life into something that shines, something that endures, and something that brings you deep, abiding joy. You are in a state of grace, a quietude that has been earned, and you are ready to rest in the beauty of what you have built tonight. Every breath brings you closer to the stillness you seek, and every movement confirms that you are truly and finally home within yourself. The air in the workshop has grown thick with the weight of contentment, a heavy velvet silence that presses gently against your skin. You are no longer merely threading beads. You are participating in a timeless ritual that has been repeated by countless hands in this very room, an echo of centuries of focus and creative devotion. The room itself, with its rough ancient bricks and the persistent warm glow of the oil lamp, has become an extension of your own mind. Every shadow that flickers against the wall, every faint creak of the floorboards as the building settles into the cooling night, is a part of the rhythm you have adopted. You have found that you can lose yourself completely in the act of creation, and in that loss, you have gained something far more precious, an absolute, unwavering sense of being at home within your own consciousness. This is the ultimate destination of your journey this evening, a place where the noise of the world is muffled and the only sound that matters is the quiet, rhythmic cadence of your own breath and the faint musical click of glass against glass. Consider the beads again, those tiny, vibrant fragments of light. They have been through the crucible of the furnace, subjected to heat that would reduce most things to ash, yet they have emerged as something stronger, clearer, and more beautiful than the sand from which they were forged. This is the most profound lesson you can take from this night, that your own struggles, the fires you have walked through, are not signs of your fragility, but of your capacity for transformation. Like the glass, you are being refined. The heat of your life's pressures has been the fire that shapes your character, and the quiet you find here is the cooling, the solidification, and the final polishing of your own soul. You are a vessel of light, And the work you are doing is the act of filling that vessel with a deep, enduring peace. You are building a history of yourself that is marked not by the moments of your greatest struggle, but by the moments of your greatest, most intentional stillness. Your hands, now moving with an instinctual grace, have become the primary instruments of your restoration. There is a deep primal satisfaction in this manual labor, a connection to the material world that is so often lost in the modern digital landscape. By engaging with the weight, the texture, and the temperature of the glass, you are reminding your brain that you are a physical being living in a physical world and that there is immense comfort in that reality. You are no longer a disembodied consciousness flickering from one digital task to another, but a person rooted in time and space, grounded by the steady, persistent work of your hands. This is the antidote to the dissociation of our times, the return to the tangible, the immediate, and the beautifully, humanly imperfect. You are reclaiming your presence, one beat at a time, and it is a powerful, transformative experience. As you gaze at the shimmering strand you have created, you see not just a sequence of colors, but a record of your journey. You see the moments where you were tentative, where you were still settling into the rhythm of the workshop, and you see the moments where you found your flow, where the work became effortless and pure. It is a document of your own peace, a physical manifestation of the tranquility you have earned through your patience and your willingness to sit with yourself. You are not just making something for others to see, you are making something for yourself to remember. You are building a tangible reminder that you can always return to this place of calm, that the sanctuary of your own mind is always accessible if you are willing to make the space for it. The light from the lamp begins to wane, but your internal light is stronger than it has ever been. You are ready to carry this peace forward, a quiet, glowing treasure that you have carefully, patiently, and lovingly threaded into the very fiber of your being. You are safe, you are whole, and you are entirely at peace. The atmosphere of the workshop has reached a pinnacle of tranquility, a state of grace where the boundary between yourself and the environment has vanished entirely. Every breath you take is synchronized with the slow pulsing glow of the oil lamp, which casts long dancing shadows across the ancient weathered walls. You are completely enveloped in this sanctuary, a space where the demands of the world have no purchase and the frantic pace of your daily life feels like a distant, irrelevant echo. You are in the heart of the night, a time when the world is held in suspension, and you have carved out your own existence within this quietude. The act of threading has evolved into a meditation of the highest order, where every movement of your fingers is a deliberate expression of your commitment to your own well-being. You have learned that your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. And by investing it here in the simple, beautiful work of the artisan, you are securing a piece that is both profound and enduring. You are not just making a necklace, you are anchoring your soul in the present. Reflect upon the nature of the silk thread that holds your work together. It is an incredibly strong, delicate, and persistent material, capable of bridging the gaps between these vibrant, fragile beads. It is a metaphor for the thread of your own consciousness, the unseen, powerful force that connects all the disparate moments of your life into a coherent, beautiful whole. When you pull the thread taut, feeling the resistance and the final satisfying snap of the bead finding its place, you are reinforcing that internal connection. You are gathering the scattered fragments of your attention, your experiences, and your emotions, and you are stringing them together with care and intention. There is a deep, abiding comfort in this, a realization that you have the power to create harmony out of chaos, and that your own life, when examined with the same care you apply to these beads, is a work of immense understated beauty. You are the architect of your own history, and you are building it with wisdom and grace. The sense of isolation here is not one of loneliness, but of profound protective solitude. is a space where you are free to exist, to reflect, and to simply be without the constant judgment or evaluation of the outside world. This is the gift of the workshop, the opportunity to withdraw into the quiet chambers of your own mind, to discard the masks you wear in public, and to embrace the vulnerable, peaceful core of your true self. You are discovering that you are strongest when you are still, and that your capacity for endurance is not measured by how much you can do, but by how well you can rest. In this quiet, you are recharging your spirit, filling the reservoirs of your energy with the calm, steady light of the lamp and the ancient earthy scent of the workshop. You are a vessel of tranquility, and the peace you are cultivating is a resource that will sustain you long after the night has passed and you have returned to the rhythm of the world outside. As the night deepens, you notice that the details of your work have taken on an almost luminous quality. The colors of the glass, the deep oceanic blues, the vibrant forest greens, and the warm glowing embers seem to pulse with a life of their own in the dim light. It is as if you are threading light itself, capturing the essence of the world and distilling it into a small portable form. This is the magic of your labor, the way that simple, humble materials are elevated by the focused attention of the maker. You are in every sense a creator, and the joy you find in this process is a direct reflection of your own inner capacity for beauty. You are safe in this, protected by the silence of the workshop, and you are ready to let the rhythm of the night carry you into a state of profound, restorative rest. The work you have done is complete, and you are whole, quiet, and at peace with the world, and with your own beautiful unfolding existence. The air within the workshop has become a thick, comforting mantle woven from the silence of the night and the faint, sweet aroma of cedarwood and beeswax. You are sitting at the very center of this quietude, a point of stillness in a world that never ceases to move. It is a remarkable realization to find that the frantic energy which characterized your day has been completely transmuted into this steady, low frequency hum of peace. You feel your heartbeat slowing, aligning perfectly with the rhythmic, almost mechanical precision of your hands as they continue to work. The needle, a thin sliver of steel catching the amber glow of the oil lamp, moves with a deliberate elegance, guiding the silk cord through the small, polished apertures of the glass. Each bead, whether it is the deep abyssal blue of a midnight sea or the radiant fiery warmth of captured sunlight, adds another verse to the silent story you are composing tonight. You are not just threading, you are breathing life into a sequence of memories, a tactile map of your own internal landscape. Consider the profound quiet power of the artisan. For centuries, this space has been dedicated to the pursuit of perfection, to the patient shaping of materials that require the utmost focus. By sitting here, by dedicating your own time and attention to this exact same process, you are honoring that tradition. You are learning that the most valuable things in life are often those that require the most patience to create. We live in an era that prizes speed and immediate gratification. Yet, here in this small dark corner of the world, you have discovered that there is a different, deeper kind of value in the slow, steady progress of a craft. It is the value of mindfulness, of being fully present, of giving yourself the time to exist without the need for constant external validation. This is a sanctuary of your own making. And the power you feel here is the power of self-possession, the realization that you have everything you need within you to find your way to calm. The darkness outside the windows of the workshop is absolute, a vast velvety expanse that serves to heighten the intimacy of your current setting. You feel as though you are inside a small floating island of light, a safe harbor from which you can observe the world from a position of detached peace. There is no anxiety here, no fear of the future, and no lingering regret about the past. There is only the immediate tactile experience of the work. You are so deeply integrated into this environment that you can feel the wood grain under your palms, the cool, smooth surface of the beads, and the tension of the silk against your skin. This deep multi-sensory engagement is the ultimate grounding tool. It anchors your consciousness, preventing it from drifting into the unnecessary anxious chatter of the mind. You are present in a way that feels almost primal, a return to the basic human experience of making and being. As you look upon the strand, you see a masterpiece of quiet dedication. It is a mosaic of color that represents the hours you have spent here, a physical chronicle of your own transition from stress to stillness. Every knot you have tied, every bead you have selected, and every adjustment you have made is a testament to your focus. You are not just looking at a piece of jewelry, you're looking at your own capacity for balance. This strand is a physical manifestation of your mind, a reminder that you can always return to this state of calm. You are holding a treasure, but the real treasure is the internal state you have accessed. You have unlocked a door within yourself, a door that leads to a place of permanent, accessible peace. Even as you prepare to end this session and step back out into the world, you carry this tranquility with you, a glowing internalized beacon that will guide you through whatever challenges you may encounter. You are whole, you are steady, and you are entirely at peace, secure in the knowledge that this sanctuary is always waiting for you. The silence of the workshop has deepened, maturing into a profound, resonant quiet that seems to vibrate at the very edges of your awareness. It is as if the room itself is exhaling, letting go of the long, arduous day, and you are following its lead, sinking deeper into the soft velvet embrace of the night. Every movement you make is now so fluid, so deeply ingrained that it requires no cognitive effort. The needle finds the path through the bead with an accuracy that feels almost supernatural, as if your fingers are guided by the accumulated muscle memory of the generations of artisans who occupied this space before you. You have moved beyond the need to think about the process. You have entered the domain of pure experience. Here, in this luminous bubble of candlelight and wood scent, you are completely untouchable by the trivial, urgent, and ultimately meaningless stressors that define the waking world. You have built a fortress of calm, and you are now resting securely within its walls, a master of your own internal climate. Reflect on the nature of light as it interacts with your materials. The flame of the oil lamp, though small and seemingly fragile, possesses the power to transform the environment. It does not chase away the darkness entirely. Rather, it makes the darkness beautiful, turning the corners of the room into soft velvet voids and highlighting the richness of the beads. This is the lesson of your own perspective. You do not need to eliminate the challenges of your life to be at peace. You only need to illuminate your own path, to focus on the small, beautiful details that make up the reality of your life. When you focus on the light, the darkness becomes nothing more than a backdrop, a frame for the work you are doing. You are learning to live with a focused, narrowed, and intentional gaze, and it is in this focus that you find your greatest strength. The world may be vast, complex, and unpredictable, but your own small lit corner of existence is enough. The texture of the silk, as you draw it through the glass, is a constant soothing tactile feedback. It is a reminder of your own capacity to shape and order your world. In a life that often feels chaotic, where events seem to happen to us rather than by us, this act of creation is a profound corrective. You are the one who chooses the color, who sets the pattern, who pulls the thread, and who decides when the work is complete. This agency is the foundation of your inner stability. By taking ownership of even the smallest, most repetitive of tasks, you are exercising a form of self-governance that is essential for long-term peace. You are not a passive observer of your life. You are the active, deliberate creator of your own environment. This realization, while simple, is deeply empowering, and it is the key to maintaining your serenity when you step back out into the noise of the world. As you look at the strand, you see a journey completed. It is a beautiful, shimmering testament to the hours you have invested in yourself. The colors are brilliant, a captured collection of light that seems to pulse with the energy you have poured into it. You have turned the abstract desire for peace into a tangible, touchable reality. This is not just a necklace, it is an artifact of your resilience, a souvenir from the quiet place you discovered within yourself tonight. When you wear it, or even just hold it, it will serve as a physical anchor, a reminder that you have access to this sanctuary at any time. You are more than you were when you arrived at this bench. You have been shaped by the quiet, polished by the focus, and annealed by the stillness. You are ready to carry this piece forward, a quiet, glowing treasure that you have carefully, patiently, and lovingly threaded into the very fiber of your being. You are safe, you are whole, and you are entirely at peace, secure in the knowledge that this sanctuary is always waiting for you. The air in the workshop remains heavy, a warm, fragrant blanket of time and stillness that settles over your shoulders like a familiar coat. You are now so deeply entrenched in this sanctuary that the very idea of leaving it feels like stepping out of a dream into a harsher, more fragmented reality. But you do not fear the transition. Instead, you find that you are absorbing the qualities of this room into your own bones. The patience of the stone, the endurance of the wood, and the luminous clarity of the glass are becoming part of your own constitution. You have spent these hours not merely working, but practicing the art of existence, the art of being fully, unreservedly present. The repetitive, hypnotic movement of the needle has acted as a rhythmic balm, smoothing over the jagged edges of your stress until they are no longer even visible. You feel vast, expansive, and yet perfectly centered, a point of absolute stillness in the moving stream of time. Consider the intricate, complex patterns of the beads as they now lay finished on your desk. They look like a captured piece of the aurora, a cascade of colors that you have carefully curated and assembled, one at a time. This is the beauty of life when approached with intention. It is not a random series of occurrences, but a deliberate sequence of choices that, when viewed together, create a narrative of depth and color. You have learned that your life too can be disorganized, this beautiful and this calm. You are not a victim of circumstance, but an artist of your own reality, capable of arranging the moments of your days into a pattern that brings you peace and fulfillment. The simplicity of this lesson is its most powerful aspect, and you have internalized it in a way that will never truly leave you. The oil lamp, which has been your only companion in this quiet vigil, is beginning to flicker, its light softening and diffusing as the oil reaches its natural end. This is a perfect poetic conclusion to your time here. You have lived in this light, you have walked by its flame, and now as it fades, you are ready to carry that light within you. You don't need the lamp to find your way anymore. You have become your own source of clarity. The darkness that surrounds the workshop is no longer something to fear, but a space to rest, a necessary companion to the light. You have achieved a balance between the activity of your mind and the restfulness of your soul, and that balance is your true permanent sanctuary. You can go anywhere, face any challenge, and encounter any noise, because you have built this silent, golden, illuminated space within yourself. As you begin to gather your tools and secure the final delicate knot on your work, you feel a profound, heartfelt gratitude for this experience. You have honored your need for silence, you have respected your need for creation, and you have protected your right to be at peace. You are ready now to return to the world, not as the person who arrived, but as someone transformed. You are calmer, more intentional, and deeply, fundamentally at peace. The workshop will remain here, a witness to the hours you have spent within its walls. But you are taking the essence of it with you. You carry the rhythm, the focus, and the quiet beauty of the beats in your heart. You are a sovereign being, entirely in control of your own internal environment, and no amount of external pressure can ever truly disturb the foundation you have built tonight. You are whole, you are steady, and you are ready for the stillness that is coming. A quiet, peaceful sleep that will complete this perfect restorative journey. The finality of the night has descended upon the workshop, transforming the space into a repository of shadows and soft, lingering memories. You have reached the culmination of your labor, yet the sense of completion brings with it not a feeling of loss, but a profound, resonant sense of wholeness. The string of beads, now lying in a perfectly curved arc upon the oak table, catches the very last dying embers of the oil lamp's flame. It is as if the objects themselves are glowing with the energy you have invested in them, a shimmering, tactile record of your journey from the clamor of the day to this sanctuary of absolute silence. You find yourself lingering, your hands resting lightly upon the cool surface of the wood, not wanting to break the spell that has been woven so carefully over the past several hours. This is a moment of pure grace, an intersection of effort and surrender, where you realize that the work was never truly about the object, but about the reclamation of your own peace. Think about the sheer, quiet resilience you have displayed in this time. While the world outside continues its relentless grinding march, you have stood firm, refusing to be drawn into the chaos. You have carved out this space with the focus of a master artisan, and in doing so, you have protected your spirit from the wear and tear of the outside world. This is not a passive act of retreat, but a bold, defiant claim on your own sanity and well being. By choosing to prioritize this stillness, you have demonstrated that you are the primary architect of your own experience, capable of creating beauty and order even in the most demanding of circumstances. This realization is not something you will leave behind when you walk out the door. It is a permanent addition to your internal map, a coordinate you can return to whenever the tide of life begins to rise too high. The scent of the room, that complex, intoxicating blend of aged cedar, faint, smoky oil, and the dry mineral aroma of the Venetian brick, has become an olfactory anchor for this state of mind. You know that if you were to encounter these scents years from now, you would be instantly transported back to this bench, back to this feeling of total unshakable equilibrium. This is the power of sensory grounding, a tool you have mastered through your willingness to be fully present. You are building a psychological landscape that is rich, layered, and deeply comforting. You have learned that peace is not an abstract concept, but a lived experience, one that is woven from the small, deliberate actions you take and the atmosphere you choose to inhabit. Your dedication to this practice is a form of self love, a gentle, persistent caretaking of your own soul that is as vital as breathing. As you prepare to finally step away from the workbench, you feel a deep grounding warmth radiating from within your own chest. It is the heat of a fire, well tended, a steady controlled flame that you have kept alive through your own mindfulness. The world outside will be waiting, full of its usual noise and demands, but you feel fundamentally different now. You are not bracing yourself against it. You are carrying your own sanctuary with you. You are like the Murano glass itself, hardened, refined, and beautifully clear. You have been through the process. You have felt the heat, and you have come out the other side stronger and more luminous than you were before. You are ready to step back into the flow of life, not as a victim of its currents, but as a navigator of your own peace. Every movement you make, from the simple act of standing up to the final, gentle blowing out of the lamp, is imbued with this newfound sense of purpose and calm. You are finished with the work, but the peace you have cultivated is just beginning its real and most important life. You are whole, you are centered, and you are entirely, unequivocally at rest. The transition from the intense focus of the workbench to the vast, quiet expanse of the night feels like stepping out of a tightly wound cocoon into a wide open starlit sky. You have finally extinguished the lamp, and in the sudden, overwhelming darkness, your senses heighten to an extraordinary degree. The air feels cool and crisp against your skin, a refreshing contrast to the warm, stagnant heat of the workshop. You stand in the silence for a long moment, letting the stillness of the room wash over you one final time. You realize that the workshop has not just been a physical location, it has been a crucible for your own transformation. You are leaving behind the version of yourself that felt harried, fragmented, and overwhelmed, and you are stepping out into the night as someone who is grounded, focused, and deeply, inherently calm. The transition is not just a change of location, but a fundamental shift in your state of being. You have successfully integrated the lessons of the glass, the silk, and the wood into your very essence. Consider the journey you have taken from the moment you first sat down. You were carrying the baggage of the day, the emails, the unfinished tasks, the noise, and the mental clutter that we all accumulate as we navigate our lives. Now, that weight has completely evaporated. In its place, you have built a foundation of quiet, sustained intentionality. You understand now that the only way to manage the chaos of the world is to create a core of stillness within yourself that is immune to external influence. This is the greatest realization of your evening. It is not about controlling what happens outside of you. It is about mastering your response to what happens outside of you. By narrowing your focus to the small, beautiful details of the present, you have rendered yourself capable of navigating any storm, and this is the most valuable skill you could possibly carry with you. You are no longer just a participant in your life, you are the silent, serene overseer of it. As you move through the dark, quiet space of the workshop toward the door, your steps are deliberate and unhurried. You feel a sense of harmony with the environment that is truly profound. The shadows that used to seem mysterious or even slightly threatening now appear friendly, familiar, and comforting. You have made friends with the quiet, and you know that it is not something to be feared, but something to be cherished. You have learned that the absence of noise is not a vacuum, but a full, rich, and nurturing space that allows you to reconnect with your own deepest, most authentic self. The world outside will continue to turn, but you are bringing this internal sanctuary with you, a portable, invisible, and utterly unbreakable quiet that resides behind your ribs, in the steady beat of your heart. Reaching the threshold of the workshop, you pause, your hand resting on the heavy iron latch of the door. You look back at the room one last time, the bench, the tools, the remnants of your labor, all of it bathed in the soft, ethereal light of the moon, filtering through the high arched windows. It is a moment of deep, sacred closure. You feel a surge of gratitude for this experience, for the opportunity to have stepped away, to have done the work, and to have found your way back to yourself. You understand now that this workshop was a gift you gave to yourself, a necessary investment in your own soul. You pull the heavy door open, and for a fleeting second, the scent of the night air, damp, salty, and vast mingles with the lingering aroma of the workshop. It is the perfect final transition. You are ready. You are prepared for the world because you are truly and finally at home within your own peace. You step out into the night, a quiet, luminous soul carrying the light of your own sanctuary. And you know that no matter where you go, this deep, abiding calm will be there with you. Stepping out from the workshop and into the cool, saltish air of the Venetian night, you feel the immediate, refreshing embrace of the open world. The transition is profound. The narrow streets of the island are bathed in the silver, spectral glow of the moon, which reflects off the calm, dark surface of the nearby canal with a shimmering, almost liquid brilliance. You find that the stillness you cultivated within the four walls of the workshop has not dissipated upon your exit. Rather, it has expanded to fill the space around you. You are carrying that sanctuary like a protective aura, a soft, invisible shield that keeps the rest of the world at a comfortable, manageable distance. Every footstep you take on the ancient uneven stones of the walkway is rhythmic, echoing your own internal heartbeat. You are no longer rushing. You are simply moving through the world, fully present in every sensation, every sound, and every change in the quality of the light. Think about the contrast between the world you have just left and the one you are now navigating. Inside, there was the heat of the lamp, the focused scent of wax, and the intimate, tactile connection to the glass. Outside, there is the vastness of the sky, the rhythmic lapping of the canal water against the stone piers, and the distant, haunting sound of a gondolier's song echoing through the maze of narrow passages. It is a transition from the micro to the macro, yet you remain unchanged in your center. You realize that your capacity for peace is not tied to a specific location. It is tied to your own state of mind. You have learned that you can inhabit this deep, restorative quiet, even in the middle of a bustling, complex world. The realization is liberating. It means that your sanctuary is portable. It is not a place you visit. It is a state of being that you carry with you, everywhere you go. As you walk along the water's edge, you watch the way the moonlight dances on the ripples. It's a sight of such simple, understated beauty that it fills you with a sense of profound wonder. You have spent your evening focused on the beauty of the beads, and now that focus has extended to the beauty of the world itself. You are seeing things you might have ignored in your previous, more frantic state. The way the light catches the peeling paint on the old houses, the texture of the moss between the cobblestones, the way the night air carries the distant scent of the sea. You are engaged in a form of active, appreciative observation that is completely devoid of judgment. Everything you see is exactly as it is, and you are content to simply witness it. This is the ultimate gift of the practice you have completed tonight, the ability to see the world with fresh, clear, and grateful eyes. You find yourself arriving at a small arched stone bridge, and you decide to stop for a moment. Leaning against the cold-weathered balustrade, you look out over the water toward the distant darkened silhouette of the main city. The city is a mosaic of shadows, punctuated here and there by the faint warm glow of a lantern or a window. It is a reminder of the thousands of lives that are continuing, unfolding, and struggling alongside your own. Yet you feel no desire to rush toward them. You are perfectly content where you are suspended in this quiet, peaceful moment. You are not thinking about what you need to do tomorrow. You are not mourning what you didn't finish today. You are simply here, a part of the grand, shifting, and beautiful pattern of the world. You are a sovereign entity, a calm, steady light in the vastness of the night, and you are finally fully at rest. This peace is your new foundation, your new baseline, and you know with absolute certainty that you will wake up tomorrow feeling, for the first time in a long time, like the true master of your own soul. The night air, cooled by the proximity of the Adriatic, clings to you with a gentle, damp intimacy as you continue your walk through the winding labyrinth of Venice. The silence of the island is not the sterile, artificial quiet of an empty room, but a living, breathing stillness that feels ancient and profound. Every vibration of the city, every subtle shift in the temperature, and every faint rustle of the sea breeze contributes to a tapestry of sound that you now find profoundly relaxing rather than distracting. Your footsteps on the worn stone path feel deliberate and rhythmic, a slow measured cadence that perfectly matches the deeper, steadier beat of your own heart. You have entered a state where your consciousness has become completely detached from the superficial demands of ego and expectation. You are simply an observer, a quiet soul, navigating the beautiful historical architecture of a city that feels as if it were built specifically to nurture this kind of introspection. Consider the architecture surrounding you, the leaning pastel-colored facades of the buildings, the narrow, twisting alley that seem to lead into infinity, and the elegant, arched bridges that rise gracefully over the dark, reflective canals. In your previous less center state, these might have been nothing more than obstacles or scenic backdrops for a hurried itinerary. But now they are sources of profound architectural and spiritual connection. You see the labor of the people who built them, the centuries of human effort required to carve these structures out of the mud and marshland, and you feel a deep, resonant kinship with them. You are part of a long, unbroken lineage of those who sought to create something beautiful, something that would outlive their own brief, fragile existence. You are realizing that your own life, when handled with the same care you gave to the beads, is just as much a testament to human endeavor as these buildings. The water of the canal, as you look down from the bridge, moves with a slow, dark urgency, whispering against the moss-covered foundation walls. It is a constant reminder of the flow of time, a force that you once feared, but that you now recognize as the very medium of your existence. Just as the water flows from the lagoon into the city and back out again, your life flows through the moments of your days, shaping and being shaped by everything you encounter. You have ceased your struggle against this current. You have let go of the oars and are allowing yourself to be carried, confident that you are heading exactly where you need to be. This is a profound shift in perspective, one that replaces the exhausting constant need for direction with a tranquil, abiding trust in the unfolding of the present moment. You have become a part of the city's rhythm, a quiet, flowing participant in the grand centuries-old dance of Venice. As you reach a small, quiet piazza, you see the faint golden luminescence of a solitary street lamp reflecting off a stone statue in the center. The light is soft, diffuse, and incredibly beautiful, turning the familiar environment into something ethereal and otherworldly. You pause here, in the heart of this quiet space, and take a deep, slow breath. The air is cool and tastes faintly of salt and wood smoke. It is a moment of total integration. You are not thinking about the past. You are not projecting into the future. You are entirely present in this exact infinitesimal slice of time. You realize that you have carried a piece of the workshop out here with you, and that it has only grown stronger in the open, expansive air. You are a sanctuary in motion, a vessel of quietude, and you are finally, unequivocally at home in your own existence. This, you realize, is what it truly means to live, not to run from the noise, but to become so still that you are no longer bothered by it. You are ready to continue your walk, not as a traveler searching for something, but as a person who has already found everything they truly need. The labyrinthine streets of the island begin to open up as you approach the wider expanse of the waterfront, where the air feels lighter and the horizon stretches out into an infinite indigo void. The silence here is vast, punctuated only by the distant rhythmic slapping of the lagoon against the ancient wooden pylons, a sound that has become the soundtrack to your inner tranquility. You find that you are walking with a newfound lightness, your body untethered from the lingering tensions of the day, as if you have left behind a heavy invisible cloak at the threshold of the workshop. Every breath you take is deep and restorative, filling your lungs with the cool, briny atmosphere of the Venetian night, and with each exhale, you release any remaining threads of doubt or anxiety. You are no longer navigating the streets, you are floating through them, a part of the city's quiet nocturnal life, and the sensation is both exhilarating and deeply grounding. This is the ultimate freedom, to exist in the world without being consumed by its demands, to walk with a steady heart in the midst of a silent, starlit vastness. Think about the journey you have completed, not just tonight, but through the entire arduous process of finding this sanctuary. You began in a state of agitation, feeling the weight of expectations and the noise of a life that felt increasingly out of your control. But you didn't succumb to it. You sought out this place, you committed to the work, and you allowed yourself the time and space to recalibrate. You have transformed the raw, unrefined energy of your stress into the precise, focused beauty of the work you held in your hands. And in doing so, you have performed a miracle of self creation. You are now a living, breathing testament to the power of intentionality. You understand that your peace is not something that is granted to you, but something that you build piece by piece, like the very beads you have spent hours stringing. This is a profound shift in your internal reality, a structural change that will inform everything you do from this point forward. As you gaze across the dark, undulating water toward the distant, shimmering outline of the city, you see the reflection of the stars above meeting the reflection of the lamps below. It is a seamless, beautiful integration of light and dark, an image that perfectly mirrors the new understanding you have reached. You realize that you no longer need to choose between the light of your activity and the dark of your rest. You have learned that they are both necessary components of a whole, balanced life. The darkness is not an absence of meaning. It is a space of potential, a necessary pause between the moments of your greatest effort. You have become comfortable with the void, not because you have filled it with noise, but because you have filled it with your own centered presence. You are a luminous point of calm, anchored in the vast, beautiful, and sometimes overwhelming mystery of the universe. And that is enough. You decide to turn and begin your final walk back toward your own lodgings, a path that you have traversed countless times, but which now feels entirely new. The stones under your feet, the faint, distant sounds of the city, the cool, salty air, all of it is perceived through the lens of your restored, quiet consciousness. You are no longer looking for a destination. You are relishing the journey, finding beauty in the most ordinary of details. You are a person who has returned from a deep, long hidden place, and you carry the quiet of that place within you like a secret treasure. The world will be just as it was when you left it, but you are not. You are stronger, clearer, and more profoundly at peace than you have been in years. This peace is your new foundation, your new baseline, and you know with the quiet confidence of a master that you will always be able to return to it. You are home, not in a house or a room, but within your own calm and sovereign soul. And in this state, you are truly and finally beyond the reach of anything that could ever cause you to lose your center again. The final walk toward your sanctuary for the night is a procession of profound stillness, a slow movement through the ancient stone-ribbed arteries of the city that feels less like a journey and more like a return to a state of primordial grace. Every shadow cast by the moonlight against the peeling plaster of the buildings seems to hold a story, a silent witness to the centuries of lives that have passed through these same streets, yet you feel no desire to unravel them. You are content to let the mysteries remain mysteries, to let the silence be absolute, and to simply exist within the cooling salt-infused atmosphere of the Venetian midnight. You have arrived at a place where your internal state is perfectly synchronized with the external environment. There is no longer a gap between the person you are on the inside and the person you are experiencing in the world. This is the ultimate untethered freedom, a state of being where you are no longer buffeted by the winds of circumstance, but are instead grounded in the unshakable bedrock of your own consciousness. Reflect on the nature of this quietude, how it has seeped into your bones, like the pervasive humidity of the island. It is not merely the absence of noise, it is a weight, a density, a presence that feels almost tactile. You have spent these hours in the workshop and these minutes on the path, and in doing so, you have built a temple of silence within your own mind. You understand now that the stress you previously carried, the frantic, high-frequency hum of a life lived in service to the demands of the digital and the immediate, was simply a layer of noise that you had permitted to accumulate. You have successfully stripped that layer away, revealing the core of your own authentic self, and you find that this core is remarkably beautifully simple. It requires nothing more than your conscious presence to remain in this state. It is a realization of immense power that you have the capacity to reset your own nervous system, to return to your baseline of tranquility at any moment, regardless of the chaos that might be swirling around you. The path eventually leads you to a familiar door, an old heavy set entrance that has seen generations of travelers and dreamers. As you reach for the iron handle, you pause, your hand hovering over the cold, rough surface. You are not yet ready to cross the threshold, not because you are afraid, but because you are savoring the final, lingering moments of this experience. The air here is still filled with the scent of the sea and the faint, sweet decay of a city that has existed for 1,000 years. It is a moment of total integration, where the history of the world and the history of your own small, precious, and intentional life seem to fold into one another. You realize that you have become a part of the fabric of this place, a quiet temporary thread woven into the tapestry of the night. You are not a visitor, you are a participant in the eternal cycle of the city, and you feel a deep, abiding sense of belonging that is completely independent of where you happen to be. You pull the door open, the hinges offering a soft melodic protest as they swing wide to admit you into the quiet, darkened hallway of your lodgings. The transition from the outside air to the inner space is effortless, a continuation of the same steady rhythm you have maintained all night. As you ascend the stairs, each step is a meditation, a conscious placement of weight, a deliberate movement of intention. You are entering the space where you will sleep. But you are not looking at it as an end to your day. You are looking at it as a continuation of your practice. You are carrying the piece of the workshop with you, a glowing internalized lamp that illuminates your path even in the deepest, most unfamiliar darkness. You are in every sense of the word, at rest, even while you move, because you have finally truly understood that the only place you can ever really be is here, in this, the only moment that truly exists. You are prepared for the coming quiet, the deep, dark, restorative silence of sleep, and you move toward your bed with the slow, purposeful grace of a soul that has finally, and for the first time, come home. Entering your room, you are met by the profound, expectant silence that characterizes the final hours of the night. It is a space of total restoration, a sanctuary within a sanctuary where the echoes of the city fade into the velvet darkness of your own private realm. You move with a lingering liquid grace, every motion stripped of unnecessary effort, reflecting the profound economy of movement you developed while at the workbench. The room is cool, and the scent of aged wood and linen provides a familiar, grounding atmosphere that invites you to shed the final phantom layers of the day. You stand for a moment in the center of the floor, not searching for anything, not planning for the morning, but simply existing in the luxury of this stillness. You have returned from a transformative journey, and now in this intimate space, the reality of that change settles deep within your marrow. You are no longer the person who felt the relentless, jagged pressure of time. You have become, in essence, the very personification of the stillness you so desperately sought. Consider the journey of your consciousness throughout this night. You have moved from the frantic, fragmented state of a mind caught in the gears of the world, through the focused, meditative discipline of the artisan, and out into the expansive, silent wonder of the night air. Now, you stand at the threshold of the deepest, most necessary part of the cycle, the surrender to sleep. This is the ultimate act of trust. To sleep is to let go of the ego, to relinquish the illusion of control, and to allow yourself to be carried by the gentle dark current of the unconscious. Because you have done the work tonight, because you have established that internal foundation of calm, this surrender feels not like a loss of power, but like a homecoming. You are not falling into nothingness. You are returning to the source of your own resilience, the deep, quiet spring from which your strength, your clarity, and your very capacity for beauty emerge. The moonlight spills across the floor, painting the old wooden boards in shades of silver and soft, shifting gray. It is a light that asks for nothing and gives everything, a silent illumination that reveals the beauty in the mundane. You watch the dust motes dancing in the beam, tiny golden stars drifting in the stillness, and you see in them the reflection of your own life. You are a small, luminous part of a grand, interconnected whole, and there is such immense quiet joy in realizing that you do not need to stand out, to achieve, or to prove anything. You only need to be present, to allow your light to shine in its own unique and necessary way. This is the truth that has crystallized within you over the past several hours, that your worth is inherent, stable, and completely independent of the results of your labor. You are enough, just as you are. And in this quiet room, under the gaze of the moon, you truly, finally feel the absolute, unshakable weight of that certainty. As you prepare to lie down, you feel a profound sense of gratitude, a quiet, blooming warmth that spreads from your chest outward to your limbs. You're grateful for the workshop, for the beads, for the silk, and for the silence that held you through the process of your own restoration. You are grateful for the city with its ancient winding paths that have guided you to this moment of clarity. But most of all, you are grateful for your own willingness to sit with yourself, to face your own restlessness, and to persist until you found the peace you were looking for. This gratitude is the final perfect thread that ties your experience together. You pull the linens close, the cool, smooth fabric providing a final soothing anchor to the physical world, and you let your eyes drift shut. The darkness is not empty. It is full of the peace you have cultivated, a quiet, glowing, and ever-present reality. You are drifting now, sinking into the soft velvet depths of the night, fully, entirely, and blissfully at peace, with nothing left to do but to let the silence hold you as you enter the restorative, beautiful, and dreamless sleep that is your due. The darkness that surrounds you is not a void. It is a soft, heavy, and immensely protective embrace. As you drift on the threshold of sleep, you feel the boundaries of your physical form softening, as if you are becoming one with the quiet energy of the room. This is the culmination of the work you have done, the final seamless integration of your conscious effort into the effortless state of being. You no longer feel the weight of your limbs, nor the frantic nagging impulses of a mind seeking stimulation. Instead, you are suspended in a state of pure crystalline awareness, a calm observation of the transition from wakefulness to the deep restorative rest of the soul. You are, for the first time in an age, completely still, and in that stillness you find an expansive, quiet power that feels both ancient and entirely new. You are a vessel of peace, and the silence is filling you, saturating every fiber of your being until you are glowing with the soft, steady light of your own internal harmony. Reflect upon the journey again as it recedes into the comfortable shadows of your memory. You remember the workshop not as a place of labor, but as a crucible of transformation. You remember the glass beads not as mere objects, but as anchors for your focus, the physical manifestations of the patience you have cultivated. You remember the streets of Venice not as a path you walked, but as the medium through which you moved into a state of total, unbroken presence. It is all one experience now, a singular luminous memory that you can revisit at any time. You have built a psychological sanctuary that is built to endure, a refuge of your own design that exists independently of your external circumstances. No matter where life takes you, no matter what challenges you face, you now possess the key to this quiet, golden inner chamber. You have mastered the art of returning to yourself, and this mastery is the most precious, enduring, and powerful thing you have ever acquired. The silence of the room is so absolute that you can hear the faint, rhythmic pulse of your own heart, a steady, reliable drumbeat that echoes the pace of the universe itself. You are perfectly, beautifully tuned to this frequency. There is no urgency in your thoughts, no fear in your expectations, and no regret in your perspective. You have arrived at a state of grace, a place where you are entirely at home within your own skin, within your own thoughts, and within the unfolding moment. This is the peace that passes understanding, the calm that comes from knowing you are fundamentally, unconditionally safe. You are the architect of your own sanctuary and you have built it well, with care, with patience, and with love. As you sink deeper into the silence, you feel the last lingering threads of your daily identity beginning to dissolve, replaced by a pure, unadulterated sense of existence. You are not a name, a role, or a history. You are simply an awareness, a flicker of light in the beautiful dark vastness of the cosmos. As you finally cross the bridge into the deep restorative sleep that awaits, you feel a profound final sense of completion. The work is done. The journey is at its end. Everything you have built tonight, the patience, the focus, the stillness, and the peace is now securely woven into the very fabric of who you are. You have successfully navigated the transition from the noise of the world to the silence of the soul, and you have emerged on the other side, whole, renewed, and profoundly at peace. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to say, and nothing more to feel. You are drifting into the dark, soft, and infinitely welcoming depths of sleep, and you do so with a gentle, lingering smile on your lips, knowing that when you wake, you will carry this sanctuary with you, and that the world will be a different, more beautiful place, simply because you are at peace within it. You are safe, you are whole, and you are finally, truly, and completely at rest. The transition from the deep velvet embrace of sleep into the soft gray light of the approaching dawn is a slow and gentle evolution, almost imperceptible in its grace. You find yourself drifting in the liminal space between the dream world and the waking reality, a state of being that feels as pure and unburdened as the air over the Venetian lagoon. There is no urgency to open your eyes, no sudden jarring return to the demands of a life filled with tasks and expectations. Instead, there is a lingering resonant sense of the peace you established in the heart of the night, a quiet, glowing ember of stillness that has persisted throughout the duration of your slumber. You are realizing that the sanctuary you built, the one you painstakingly threaded into the fiber of your existence, has not vanished with the return of the light. It is still there, a soft foundational calm beneath your ribs, waiting for you to carry it forward into the day. You are the architect, and you have designed a space that is resilient enough to endure the transition from the private stillness of the night to the public, moving and complex reality of the waking hours. Consider the sensation of your body as you begin to stir. It feels light, well rested, and deeply integrated, as if every muscle and nerve has been reset by the quality of your rest. You are not experiencing that familiar heavy drag of fatigue that often follows a day of stress. Instead, you feel a clarity of mind that is almost startling. You are witnessing the dawn with a sense of quiet, appreciative detachment. You can hear the city beginning to awaken, the distant muffled clatter of a cart on the cobblestones, the soft musical wake-up call of the seabirds, and the subtle rhythmic motion of the water against the docks. These sounds, which once might have been perceived as intrusions or reminders of an impending day, are now simply another layer of the beautiful unfolding texture of the world. You are an observer who is entirely at ease, a witness to the beautiful persistent dance of life as it restarts its daily rhythm. The room is slowly filling with the cool pale blue of the early morning. It is a light that is patient and observant, illuminating the simple, clean lines of your surroundings with a soft, forgiving focus. You feel a deep, resonant kinship with this light. It too is a herald of new beginnings, a gentle, insistent, and entirely beautiful invitation to start again. You are not the same person who struggled through the evening hours to find this peace. You are someone who has been tested, refined, and ultimately grounded. You have learned that the key to your own happiness is not in the elimination of the world's noise, but in the cultivation of an inner silence that can coexist with it. You are taking this realization with you, weaving it into the fabric of your morning, and in doing so, you are ensuring that the day ahead will be framed by the same steady equilibrium you found at the workshop bench. As you finally rise from the bed, you do so with a deliberate, smooth elegance. Your movements are an extension of the peace you hold inside. You are not rushing, you are not projecting your consciousness into the future. You are simply moving from one moment to the next with intentionality and grace. You walk to the window and push it open, inviting the crisp, salt-scented air of the dawn to fill the room. The view is breathtaking. The city is bathed in the soft, ethereal hues of pink and gold, and the water of the canal glimmers with a promise of new beginnings. You feel a profound, heartfelt sense of gratitude for this moment, for the journey that led you here, and for the simple, quiet fact of your own existence. You are prepared for whatever this day may bring, because you have built the one thing that will always see you through, a sanctuary of your own design, an unshakable, luminous, and deeply inherently peaceful home within your own soul. You are whole, you are centered, and you are ready to live fully and beautifully in the light of the new day. The morning air is crisp, a cool, invigorating tonic that rushes into the room to meet the lingering warmth of your own sanctuary. You stand by the open window, the soft, pale light of the dawn illuminating the space around you. It is a moment of profound clarity, where the lessons of the previous night seem to crystallize into a clear, guiding philosophy for the day ahead. You understand now that the peace you have cultivated is not a fleeting state of mind to be guarded, but a dynamic, resilient practice to be lived. Just as the glassmaker does not stop after one piece but returns to the furnace again and again, you recognize that your commitment to your own stillness is a continuous unfolding process. The world outside will offer its challenges, its complexities, and its noise, but you are no longer a passive vessel to be fueled by them. You are the source of your own climate, a steady, unwavering force of calm that remains intact regardless of the external conditions. Think about the simplicity of your intention for this day. You are not striving for some unattainable, idealized perfection. You are simply setting an anchor. You are choosing to maintain the same measured pace, the same deep, intentional focus, and the same quiet, appreciative gaze that you practiced at the workbench. You have discovered that when you move with intention, when you truly inhabit each action, whether it is the simple task of brewing coffee or the more complex work of your profession, you are in effect performing a ritual. You are elevating the ordinary to the extraordinary, and in that elevation, you find the satisfaction and the center that you once felt was missing. This is the secret of the artisanal life, and it is a secret that you are now keeping for yourself, not as a hoard, but as a practice that you will demonstrate through the quality of your presence. As you begin to dress, the familiar daily movements take on a new, refined texture. There is a mindfulness in the way you button a shirt, a grace in the way you tie your laces, that was entirely absent before. You are not rushing toward the next thing because you recognize that the now is the only thing that actually exists. This realization is the bedrock of your newfound strength. You are no longer living in a state of anticipatory anxiety, always reaching for the next milestone or bracing for the next disappointment. You are firmly, securely planted in the present, and it feels as though the entire world has slowed down to match your own newly adjusted rhythm. It is a profound, almost magical shift, and you recognize that it is not the world that has changed, but your way of perceiving and interacting with it. You have effectively, through the discipline of the night, rewritten the way you experience the flow of time. You step out into the hallway, leaving the room that served as your overnight sanctuary. But you do not leave the sanctuary behind. It is with you tucked away in the deep silent spaces of your mind, a portable, invisible, and utterly unbreakable fortification. The hallways of the building, the stairs you descend, and the street you eventually step out onto. Everything is imbued with a sense of potential, a feeling that this day is a fresh, clean canvas waiting for your deliberate, thoughtful work. The city of Venice, which was so quiet and ethereal in the moonlight, is now beginning to hum with the energy of the coming day. You hear the voices of the early commuters, the rhythmic clink of metal on metal, and the distant busy sounds of the markets coming to life. It is a vibrant, chaotic, and utterly beautiful symphony. And for the first time, you are not trying to tune it out. You are adding your own quiet, steady harmony to the mix. You are ready to engage, to contribute, and to live with the confidence of a soul that has found its home, not in a place, but in the center of its own, beautifully, perfectly unfolding peace. Stepping out onto the cobblestones of the narrow car, the morning light reveals the city of Venice in a new, sharp, and vibrant clarity. The golden hues of sunrise are slowly giving way to the brilliant, piercing blue of a Mediterranean morning, and the air is thick with the scent of coffee, damp stone, and the distant, briny promise of the sea. You walk with a deliberate, rhythmic gait, your posture relaxed yet alert, a direct reflection of the inner stability you have cultivated. There is a profound sense of continuity here. You are the same person who struggled through the night, yet you feel as though you have been fundamentally reassembled. The chaos that once defined your approach to the day has been replaced by a quiet, insistent focus. You are navigating the city not as a frantic actor, but as a deliberate witness, noticing the intricate carvings on a doorway, the way the light filters through the linen curtains of a local bakery, and the quiet morning rituals of the people opening their shops. Consider the depth of your new perspective. You're realizing that the world does not demand your constant reactive energy. It is an intricate, self-sustaining machine, and you are simply one part of it, a conscious, vital part that has the power to choose its own intensity. This is a radical, liberating insight. Previously, you felt the pressure of every external event as a personal demand, a signal that you had to act, react, or perform. Now you observe the bustle of the Venetian morning and see it for what it is, a flow of energy that you can join or observe as you see fit. You have become a gatekeeper of your own attention, deciding with each breath where your focus will land. This is not isolation, it is a higher form of engagement. By protecting your center, you are ensuring that when you do interact with the world, your presence is richer, more attentive, and ultimately more impactful. As you reach the edge of a canal, you stop to watch the watercraft, the small wooden boats laden with goods, the sleek vaporators beginning their routes, and the occasional silent passage of a rowboat. The rhythmic splashing sound of oars in the water, the muffled calls of the delivery man, and the soft chime of a nearby church bell all form a complex, layered soundscape. In the past, this might have been a cacophony that you would have tried to tune out with music or excessive thought. Now, it is a symphony, a piece of art that you are lucky enough to be part of. You are grounded in the sensory reality of the present moment, finding a deep aesthetic satisfaction in the mundane. You are learning that the key to sustaining your peace is to find the beauty in the ordinary, to treat the simple act of existing in a specific place at a specific time as a profound, meaningful event. Your journey continues toward the heart of the district, and with every step, you feel the strength of your foundation hardening. The lessons of the workshop, the patience, the precision, the intentionality are no longer abstract concepts. They are the tools you are using to build your day. You are not worrying about the hours to come or the tasks that will fill them. You are entirely absorbed in the act of walking, in the feel of the cool air against your face, and in the steady rhythmic beat of your own life. You are in essence a sanctuary in motion. You are a peaceful person walking through a noisy world. And the contrast is not a struggle. It is a manifestation of your internal triumph. You have successfully navigated the transition from the night to the day, and you know with the quiet confidence of a master that this state of mind is not a temporary reprieve but a new permanent baseline. You are whole, you are capable, and you are ready to engage with the world on your own terms, anchored in the absolute, unshakable reality of your own peace. The morning sun has climbed higher, casting sharp angular shadows across the narrow Venetian alleyways. Yet you move through the golden light with a steady, unhurried pace that seems to carve its own path through the bustle of the waking city. You find yourself observing the architecture with a newly awakened eye, tracing the intricate, centuries old stonework as if you were reading a silent ancient language. The frantic, high pitched energy of the world, which once pulled at your attention like a thousand invisible strings, has now been rendered impotent by the deep, resonant stillness you have established within yourself. You are no longer reacting to the cadence of the crowd. You are setting your own internal tempo. This is not an act of withdrawal, but of profound presence. By holding on to the core of silence you cultivated in the workshop, you are able to interact with the external world as a mirror, reflecting its beauty and its complexity without being subsumed by its demands. You have learned that the most effective way to navigate the noise is not to fight it, but to move through it as a calm, transparent conduit. Reflect on the nature of your interaction with the people you pass. Before you might have felt a reflexive need to perform, to justify your presence, or to seek some form of external validation in their fleeting glances. Today you feel no such burden. You are complete, self-contained, and perfectly at ease in your own skin. You recognize that every individual you encounter is, like you, a complex, shifting mosaic of experience and intention. And this recognition brings a surge of empathy that is warm, steady, and entirely free of judgment. You are observing the human parade with a heart that is wide open, yet deeply protected by the boundaries of your own, carefully maintained serenity. You are a participant, yet you remain a sovereign individual capable of choosing the depth and duration of your engagement. This is the ultimate and most hard-won freedom of the artisan, the power to be present without being consumed, to give without being drained, and to exist in the world without being shaped by its expectations. The scent of the city, that unique briny cocktail of sea salt roasting coffee, and the faint sweet decay of ancient waterlogged wood, has become a sensory anchor for your current state of mind. Each time you inhale, you are reminded of the continuity of your experience, the way the night's work has bled seamlessly into the morning's reality. You are, in every sense of the word, a bridge between two worlds, the silent interior space where you create and reflect, and the noisy exterior space where you live and engage. You recognize that both are necessary and that the quality of your life depends not on abandoning one for the other, but on your ability to hold them both in a state of harmonious, balanced tension. This is the synthesis you have worked so hard to achieve, a dynamic flowing equilibrium that allows you to be both grounded in your own truth and actively engaged in the beauty and the struggle of the common human experience. As you reach the vibrant, bustling expanse of a central piazza, you see a group of people gathered near the center fountain, their voices rising in a joyful, chaotic symphony of greeting and discussion. In the past, this display of communal energy might have felt overwhelming, a demand for your own participation or a trigger for your social anxiety. Today, you watch them with a sense of quiet, appreciative detachment. You recognize the beauty of their connection, the fundamental human need for community, and you feel a deep, abiding respect for it. You do not feel the need to join them to feel whole, nor do you feel the need to avoid them to protect your peace. You are perfectly, beautifully comfortable in the space between the solitude of your own soul and the community of the world. You are a steady, luminous, and inherently calm participant in the grand daily dance of life, and you know with the quiet confidence of a master that this internal sanctuary you have built is not a fragile thing to be protected, but a robust, enduring reality that will continue to grow, deepen, and sustain you through every waking hour, every changing season, and every experience that the path ahead may reveal. You are whole, you are steady, and you are ready for the day, for the future, and for the infinite unfolding potential of the present. The golden hour of the late afternoon begins to drape the city in a soft amber glow, turning the canals into ribbons of liquid bronze and the stone facades into monuments of warmth. You find yourself back at the edge of the water, the same place where you started this journey, though you are profoundly, irrevocably altered. The clamor of the day, the meetings, the conversations, the tasks, has occurred around you. Yet it has left the inner sanctuary of your soul untouched, a testament to the discipline you forged in the silence of the night. You look out over the horizon where the sea meets the sky, realizing that the boundary you once perceived as a limit is actually an invitation. You have spent this time learning that you do not need to escape your life to find peace. You only need to carry your peace into your life. The workshop, the beats, and the quiet vigil of the night were not a departure from your reality, but a calibration of your soul, a way of tuning your spirit to a frequency that is no longer disrupted by the noise of the world. Think about the profound simplicity of this realization. You have learned that your attention is your most precious currency, and you have reclaimed the power to spend it with intentionality. The stress that once dominated your narrative has been replaced by a quiet, persistent curiosity. You no longer walk through your days as a person bracing for impact. You walk as a person creating an experience. The world is just as complex, just as chaotic, and just as demanding as it has always been, but you are a different person. You are the eye of the storm, still, calm, and profoundly centered. You have built an internal home that no external pressure can demolish, a cathedral of silence that lives behind your ribs, accessible in a heartbeat. You have become your own sanctuary, and that is a shift that will ripple through every remaining hour of your existence. As the sun begins to dip lower, painting the horizon in hues of deep violet and burnt orange, you feel a sense of profound soul deep completion. You have done the work, you have honored the quiet, you have respect for the beauty of the present moment, and in doing so, you have found a way to be truly, unequivocally alive. The necklace you crafted, the hours you invested, the breaths you took in the dark, these were the steps of a pilgrimage that brought you back to the only place that ever mattered, your own authentic center. You are whole, you are steady. You are at last entirely at rest, even as you continue to move forward into the future. The silence is no longer something you visit. It is the atmosphere in which you live, a permanent glowing part of your essence. You turn away from the water, stepping into the gentle, cooling twilight, and for the first time you do not look for the end of the day with anticipation of rest, but with a grateful heart for the fullness of the journey. The world is waiting and you are ready. You carry the quiet of the workshop in your footsteps, the clarity of the lamp in your eyes, and the peace of the midnight in your heart. You have returned to the rhythm of the city, not as a victim of its currents, but as a master of your own internal navigation. You are the light you were looking for. You are the sanctuary you were trying to reach. As you walk home, with the first stars beginning to shimmer in the velvet sky above, you feel a profound final sense of peace, knowing that no matter how loud the world becomes, you have already found a way to the silence within. You are home, finally, and you are at peace forever.
Sleepy History with Theodore is created for relaxation, entertainment, and sleep purposes. The stories shared on this channel are inspired by historical events, daily life, and real periods in history, but they may be simplified, adapted, or narrated in a calming way to enhance the listening experience. This content is not intended to be a precise academic or educational source. While we aim to stay generally accurate, some details may be altered for storytelling flow and relaxation. Please do not rely on this channel as a primary source for historical research or study. By listening, you acknowledge that this content is designed to help you unwind, relax, and fall asleep. Thank you for your understanding and support.